good evening, and a pleasant hello to you from Ice in Paradise in Goleta. For the third time in the Ice in Paradise era, ice hockey at UCSB opens their college hockey season at home. And what a pleasure it'll be to bring it to you on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network this and all season long. Hello, my name is Eric Evelhoch. I'm joined by Kyle Nicolas, the three-year broadcasting crew here for Ice Hockey at UCSB. And Kyle, the Gauchos, 9-6-0 last season, a perfect 8-0-0 in the Pacific Collegiate Hockey Association, took home the regular season championship, and have a lot of expectations coming into 2017-18.
And that can only really mean one thing. That's going to mean there is a target square on their backs this season, and it is going to show right here from the get-go as they automatically, right off the get-go, are going to face a division opponent tonight in the Santa Clara Broncos. Those who paid attention last season remember that the season series between these two teams was not short of drama. UCSB coming out in the first meeting with a dramatic overtime victory, 3-2 before shelling the Santa Clara Broncos the second night out by a final score of 7-3. That's 7 goals, interestingly enough, the most that goaltender for Santa Clara, Frankie Nix, gave up in any game last season. So you know revenge is going to be on the minds of the players dressed in black with red shoulders tonight.
Santa Clara comes into tonight's contest with a 2-1-0 record on the season. They have one win already in ACHA action, having defeated the Santa Rosa Junior College Polar Bears in their first game of the season, 5-1. But Kyle, for UCSB, it's a team that's gone over more than half turnover. 7 players returning for UCSB, including 3 of their top 5 scorers, but 12 new players for head coach Scott Hires and crew.
And that means there are going to be some growing pains for ice hockey at UCSB. It's very difficult to get a team that has never played together to gel quickly. Now, fortunately for ice hockey at UCSB, they are starting their season late compared to most of the ACHA. Santa Clara, as you mentioned, already has 3 games under their belt. Several teams have been playing since the beginning of October. That's given Santa Barbara plenty of time to get together, really get to know each other, and I think they can use that chemistry now to cut down the amount of time it's going to take them to get used to each other.
The key names returning for ice hockey at UCSB: Captain Justin Goldser, leading scorer from last season Tyler Barone, leading goal scorer Cooper Spears, and slick skating defenseman Andrew Vieira. These players will be counted on to form a leadership core for this team in 2017-18.
Absolutely. These are the guys that the Gauchos are going to need to step up and have big nights every night they take to the ice sheet here at Ice in Paradise or out on the road. The younger players are looking up to them. Their counterparts are looking to them to make sure that they can get the job done every single night. This is what it means to be a veteran player. These players are going to have to step up. They are the key players this season for ice hockey at UCSB. But let's not discount there is a good amount of new young talent with this team this year.
And particularly when we show you the scoreboard over the course of the game, you'll note the now 3 banners hanging for the Santa Barbara Royals of the Los Angeles Kings High School Hockey League. The Gauchos pleased to welcome 5 players from that Royals program, percolating their way up to the team. However, with so much youth, Kyle, you wonder, considering some of the players who UCSB will not be bringing back this season, the Mooney brothers, Kevin and Kyle, who each averaged over a point per game last season, maybe with the learning curve of getting used to playing ACHA hockey, we could see a Gaucho side which, while it was really effective offensively last season, could go through some growing pains this year.
Well, ice hockey at UCSB is going to have to be a much more balanced team this year. Last year, they kind of relied on outscoring their opponents and being able to beat them on the scoreboard. This year, they're not going to be able to do that as so much. They're going to have to play better defense. They're going to have to keep teams away from the front of their net, and they're going to have to rely on what scoring they can get. Obviously, losing those big goal scorers, they're going to have to use the goals that they do get to their advantage and work on keeping pucks out of their own net if they're going to come out on top.
As you mentioned earlier here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB pregame show, brought to you by Center Ice Santa Barbara, located in Goleta. Center Ice Santa Barbara is the premier destination for hockey and figure skating equipment plus apparel, located at 7127 Hollister Avenue in Suite 8 in Goleta. Visit Center Ice Santa Barbara on the web at Center Ice SB, center spelled the Canadian way, CENTER And Kyle, as you mentioned, the Gauchos sweeping the season series between these two teams last year, the 3-2 overtime win on the heroic goal by Kevin Mooney, and then winning 7-3 the next day. One thing that has been abundantly clear about this Santa Clara program when the Gauchos have played them last season and what we've seen from them this year, losing 4-3 at San Jose State or against San Jose State University, I should say, in their first home game of the season before a 9-3 blowout of UC Davis in their most recent game. Stats unfortunately unavailable for that contest against the Aggies. We know that the discipline and the structure that you spoke that these Gauchos will be looking to develop this season is something that this Santa Clara program under head coach Jackson Morgus has in spades.
And they're going to test ice hockey at UCSB. We did make mention of it just a little bit earlier. It all starts from the very back for the Santa Clara team. Goaltender Frankie Nix last season led the PCHA in all major goaltending categories. He is a force to be reckoned with coming into what is now his fourth season with the program. The Gauchos are going to have to pepper him with shots and keep him busy, because if he gets on his game and keeps them away from it, it's going to be really hard for them to come out on top tonight. He is a spectacular goaltender.
How good is Frankie Nix? Well, in a league and at a level in the ACHA where a goalie is feeling good about themselves if they stop 81, 82% of the shots, last season Nix led the PCHA with a .886% save percentage, and oh yeah, he very nearly posted a 90% save percentage back in 2015, 2016, the last Division III year for this Santa Clara University side. As we always do before we get to the action, we check out Kyle's keys for tonight's contest for the Gaucho victory.
And as mentioned earlier, the first key is going to be you have to get shots on Frankie Nix. Getting the shots on him early and often will allow the Gauchos to get more scoring opportunities, get some rebounds, get to the front of the net, and really generate that offense, get it going, and generate a few goals. Key number 2 is going to be match the pace set by the young players. And talking to Coach Scott Hires before this game, Chris Awashuk and Colin Delbonis were singled out as two players he is expecting to step up as leaders for the young freshman players that are joining up from the Santa Barbara Royals. They are hard skaters. They are very hard workers. Coach wants the team to match their intensity, match their speed, and if they do that, then they'll have a better chance on offense. And finally, this is a packed house. First night, control the adrenaline. You can either grip the stick too hard, or you can make it work for you. This is an opportunity for UCSB. And now I think we are going to have the starting lineups and some announcements, and they will be purveyed by none other than my partner, Eric Evelhoch, tonight.
Yeah, a little something new this season, Kyle. Not only the Gauchos breaking in 12 new players, but we're trying something else new, as those fans of UCSB Intercollegiate Athletics will know me as the 3-year public address announcer at Cesar Wasaka Stadium for the baseball program. And of course, if you've made your way over to Harder Stadium to watch men's and women's soccer this season, or perhaps tuned in to that 0-0 draw in the blue-green rivalry, done a little bit of stadium announcing in that. So we'll try my hand at that as the two teams get ready and clear the ice here for the end of the pregame skate.
So you will hear him live what's going on through the building.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ice in Paradise and the 2017-2018 season of ice hockey at UCSB Gauchos Hockey. At this time, let's meet the starting lineups for both teams. First, introducing the visiting Santa Clara University Broncos. Defenseman from San Diego, team captain number 5, Phil Park. Defenseman from Anaheim, number 9, Aiden Rupert. Forward from Scottsdale, Arizona, number 21, Kyle Perez. Forward from Chicago, Illinois, number 23, AJ Hood. And forward from Boise, Idaho, number 71, Dakota Vinegar. In goal from Chicago, Illinois, number 33, Frankie Nix. The head coach of the Broncos is Jackson Morgus.
And now the starting lineup
For your UC Santa Barbara Gauchos! Defender, a junior from West Covina, number 11, Andrew Vieira. Defender, a senior from Los Angeles, number 91, Dimitri Hiagai. Forward, a sophomore from Santa Barbara, number 22, Cooper Spears. Center, a junior from Murrieta, number 17, Tyler Barone. And forward, senior from Los Angeles, the captain, number 10, Justin Goldster. In goal, freshman from Santa Barbara, number 32, Will Hahn. The head coach of your Gauchos in his second season is Scott Hires. His assistant coaches, Steve Hines and Ben Brecker. Ladies and gentlemen, we now direct your attention to the left side of the rink as our nation's colors are presented by the United States Naval Sea Cadets Corps Air Pac Squadron. Please rise as we honor our nation and our country. And now, our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner, performed by a cappella group B. Fong, Brothers from Other Mothers. Thank you, BFOM, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Gauchos Hockey!
You heard it there, ladies and gentlemen. It is a new season, new year, a lot of new players, a lot of fresh faces, but a similar opponent that the Gauchos know well from last season. Let's get this one underway. It's been a long offseason, Eric. It really has felt like it. Maybe having to do with that fact that it's late in October and it's the first game just now tonight, but boy, it really feels like we've been gone for a while. So,
and as you mentioned, Kyle, that's something that could play into the favor of this Gauchos team, which practices twice a week, and with the opportunity, working with second-year head coach Scott Hires, of course, the 12-year NHL veteran Steve Hines, who was planning on traveling more this season with the ice hockey at UCSB squad, and of course, assistant coach Ben Brecker, who played in the ACHA back in his university days at Bowling Green. You have to figure that additional time really gives this young Gaucho outfit the opportunity to come out cohesive together and ready to play.
And we mentioned such a big contingent of former Royals players as well. Coach Steve Hines leading the Royals for the last several seasons is definitely going to give them a familiar edge. There's a lot of familiarity already built with this Gaucho team. Let's see if they can translate it into a little bit of chemistry here at the collegiate level.
Barone and Perez ready to take the opening drop. Eric Evelhoch, Kyle Nicolas with cameraman Jesse Gutierrez and technical director Jasmine Kellogg. Ready to bring the 2017-18 home opener to you as Cooper Spears carries in. It deflects in on Nix off the shin pads of Aiden Rupert, and he holds for the early face-off 13 seconds in.
And we talked to Coach Scott Hires a little bit before the game. He mentioned a lot about how Cooper Spears seems to have worked very hard this summer on building his own game. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, he's shooting the puck harder, and he is expected to lead this team this year.
Goldser's backhander off the draw, flared away by Nix, held in at the point by Vieira. Goldser gives the puck away to Phil Park, who will send it far boards for Dakota Vinegar. Vinegar chips it in behind Hahn, and Hahn has some big pads to fill after the performance last season of Nora Penn, the German national who played all 15 games for the Gauchos last year, second in the league in each statistical category behind Nix last season as Barone picks it up in the near side corner. Barone being hassled there by McDowell, puck turned over, Perez to the line, can't get it out. McDowell on the second opportunity kicks it forward for Perez, and he'll play forward. Here's an early break for A.J. Hood. Hood scores! And the leading goal scorer this season for Santa Clara has put the Broncos on top 1 minute in the first period.
And Hood got just a step away from Dimitri Piagai along the blue line, and it was a great heads-up pass to feed him right there, just keeping him onside. Quick little move, and he just wrong-footed goaltender Will Hahn just to slip it into the corner. A little bit of a rough start for UCSB, but that's one that you can shake off, get back into it. Gauchos with some good pressure early, just falling behind on one little tiny mistake. It's all it really takes to get a goal, but UCSB can answer back quickly.
Here's freshman center Colin Dalbonis facing off with Brendan Boardingham. Several of these players' names will be familiar from Santa Clara for last season. Boardingham, one of them, as Park now will play up the near side boards and able to angle it in back in behind. Liam Gallant gives chase there, but a big hit delivered. Santa Clara retains possession, Boardingham to the line. Shot from the point, Hahn the save, the rebound sticks to him, and he gets a little how do you do coming through. I believe that's Andrew Seitz sniffing around. And
goal scorer A.J. Hood was one of the players that Santa Clara highlighted in the early game. Off to a very strong start so far this season, definitely leading the team in offense. So one of the players that UCSB is going to have to keep an eye on if they want to contain the offense for Santa Clara.
Draw one to the far boards by Boardingham. He curled back into the corner by Seitz for retrieval by Gallant. Gallant swings it around. Park activated, but it's swept through. Race for the puck in the near side corner, and the no-touch icing whistled as Aiden Rupert was there ahead of the hard-charging Gaucho forward Awasiak.
And that is a line that we should keep an eye on for most of the night. As you remember, in the pregame, we did discuss that Chris Awasiak and Colin Dalbonis, both on that forward line, are expected to be kind of the go-to guys for the young freshmen. So those are two players to keep your eyes on here tonight.
The defensive zone draw, Perez wins this. Hood tries to skate through the slot, taken away from him by Adam Negroni. Puck taken behind the net, thrown in front. Hahn able to deflect the pass. Hood was trying to sneak it out in front for Perez and held for a draw.
UCSB getting pinned into their own zone just a little bit here. Need to just work on making that exit pass just a little bit cleaner. A lot of credit to the defense here for Santa Clara. They are not afraid to activate down off that point.
Gauchos win the defensive zone draw. Played to the point, shot from there, wide by McDowell. Thrown in front, Hahn the save, rebound, score! And Santa Clara's ahead 2-0 on Hood's second goal of the game.
A.J. Hood, just a slippery player, winds his way through the slot and just gets to a rebound. Not a whole lot that goaltender Will Hahn could have done around that one. Just kind of slipped it around his foot. He made the initial save, but kicked it out right to the front of the net. You can see his defense going back there saying, shake that one off, it's all right. Still a lot of hockey to play here, but Santa Clara appears to have the edge early. Maybe a little bit of nerves here for the home opener. Again, kind of a big deal here. The stands are absolutely packed. We got people standing all around because the bleachers are completely full.
Off the draw, carried in by Colin Dalbonis. Shoulder to shoulder, he shrugs off Rupert's hit, but Rupert comes back to take the puck away and will play it forward for Chris Brown. Brown in up the right wing, stick checked away at the line, gathered in by Cooper Spears. Piagai will swing it around to his defense partner Vieira. Held in at the point by Michael Laverato. Piagai, an assistant captain for the Gauchos, as is Tyler Barone. All three players returning from last year's team as Cooper Spears plays it back behind his own net for the Piagai retrieval. Laverato there to meet him as Goldser switches for Spears. Spears, who's added another 5 pounds of muscle in the offseason, gives it far boards for Barone. Barone loops it into the near side boards where Park will retrieve behind his own net. Goldser tried to come up with a steal, well played forward, activating from the point. Rupert will hold it in. Big-bodied, 6'2", 215-pound freshman Emmett Rupert. A board battle far side. It's kicked forward for Aiden Rupert. No relation. Stretch pass for Goldser. Goldser. Whistle and an offside called on the play forward.
Boy, that was a really, really close one, too. That's a bit of a shame for Justin Goldser. He had a little bit of an edge over here along the right-hand side. If he would have been onside, he would have been able to carry that in right to the top of the circle and let a pretty good shot go.
Referee tonight is Andy Mack on the lines, Mark Croshaw and Mikhail Kolomensky. Of course, the officiating crew at Ice in Paradise, all new with the opening of this rink 3 years ago. Michael Herlihy will carry forward for the Gauchos. He throws it in from distance, kicked away with the right pad by Nix. Rupert battles for it in the far boards. Double team worked free by Cameron Burke. Burke tries a stretch pass, stepped up by Barone and intercepted. McDowell intercepted his pass forward and will carry in 1-on-2. Flops it from distance to the left corner. Groening tried to play it through the middle, was intercepted by Seitz, but he stood up, and the Gauchos able to slowly roll it out to center. Nice step up by Rupert to prevent the potential break-in for Herlihy. As now Negroni chases behind the net, delivers the hit on Boardingham, as the Gauchos look to try and regain possession in their own defensive end. Boardingham shrugs off the hit. Sends it back behind the net for Brown. Brown to the point for Park. Back for Brown. Touches it around behind. And Austin Trenner, big freshman from San Jose, stood up at the red line by Boardingham. Slows it down, but now the Gauchos can break in. Backhanded to the slot. Set just wide on a fluttering attempt by Trenner.
That puck was on edge. Not a good opportunity to get that one off.
And Santa Clara able to get the clear and the release valve with pressure, leading it by 2 with 14:38 to go here in the first period. And Kyle, it's worth pointing out there are some differences in the ACHA than in NCAA Division I action.
Absolutely. You will notice especially a difference from the NHL level. When a team ices the puck in the ACHA, they are still permitted to make a line change. So that is still a strategy that is in play for a lot of teams, whereas in the NHL, you would have to keep the same tired players on the ice.
Boardingham, after winning the defensive zone draw, has it near boards. Barone wedges it free from him. Carries over the blue line himself. Barone hesitates, shoots, blockered away by Nix. Spears on his backhand, shielding away, feeds. Goldser shoots it right into the breadbasket, and there's the square Nix to shut him down.
And the first good extended stretch of offense here for the Gauchos comes as the Gauchos for the first time are actually able to skate the puck through the neutral zone and get a couple good shots away. Frankie Nix equal to all of them so far, but it looks like UCSB starting to find their legs underneath them.
Another defensive zone draw won by Santa Clara, but a good hold in at the point by Vieira. Still sitting there, Barone will gather in neutral ice. McDowell backhands his play back in and now stretches it ahead. Look out, here's A.J. Hood. Hood! Boy, he took a heck of a hip check from Piagai.
How many times have we said that before?
Stood up at the line. The Gauchos go offside as Barone was in ahead early of Goldser on the near wing.
And you can see already Santa Clara's big defensive strategy is to just hold their ground right along their own blue line. They are making the Gauchos pay the price to carry it over or play the dump-in game. And when you've got a goaltender in back like Frankie Nix, who's so good at stopping pucks and getting to them, you can't say that's not a bad strategy.
Mark McDowell on the carry forward. Shoots it in behind. Piagai retrieves for the Gauchos. Switches for Vieira, who tied for the team lead with 14 assists last season. Vieira also plays roller hockey for UCSB. Stretch pass, can't connect with Herlihy. McDowell regathers in his own end and feeds Cameron Burke. Brendan Boardingham sent into the boards. Gauchos wedge it forward to the far side. Turnover in neutral ice. Good head of steam, shot, glove save by Nix. Rebound sent off the outside of the cage. Awasiuk and Delbonis. Boy, they did it so many times over the last 2 seasons for the Santa Barbara Royals. A good look of 1-2 play from them there for the Gauchos. But now Michael Lavarado leading the charge in, stood up at the line. Cameron Burke will shoot it back in as Santa Clara and UCSB both go for changes. We've played 7 minutes and 25 seconds here in the opening period. Piagai for Vieira. Gauchos loot to set up the breakout with 3 forecheckers waiting at the blue line for Santa Clara. Barone shrugs off the hit from Park. Plays it back to the near point. Rupert's shot screams wide of the right-hand glove of Nix and back out to neutral ice. Negroni for Rupert. Passes forward for Barone. Shrugged off. Attempted step around there by Austin Trenner. Clear held in at the far point by Negroni. Dimitris Tigos plays it behind the net. Park to the near point, but not out. Pass across. Oh, just stubbed wide open. Strategos couldn't get good wood on it. Rupert on the carry in, drops it back. Sent to the near corner by Chris Brown. Barone swings it behind the net. And Cooper Spears, fresh off the bench with a head of steam up the left wing. Spears dips the shoulder, tries going short side, gets his own rebound off the outside of the net. McDowell. For A.J. Hood, he has both the Bronco goals so far in the game. Hood on his backhand. Shovels it in on Hahn, who makes the save and holds for the draw.
Good recognition from the UCSB defense on that one. A.J. Hood, clearly the most dangerous player on the ice so far here this evening for Santa Clara. Good recognition from the defense to realize that he was alone. Both defensemen go to him. Both of them force an awkward shot on the backhand, a routine save for goaltender Will Hahn.
UCSBHockey.com, your home for ice hockey at UCSB. On the web, bookmark it, please. Played out to neutral ice. Good opportunity here for Golter on the carry-in. Played to the slot, backhanded away by Seitz. He'll track it down far boards, but Golter stands him up. Cameron Burke now switching for Mark McDowell. McDowell rags free from 3-4 checkers and gives back for Burke out of Wilmington, Delaware. Lavarado on the carry-in. Patted away by Hahn to the near side boards, and a chance for the Gauchos. Perhaps to break ahead. Shot from the point. Save made. And a big hit delivered on Park in the near corner by Spears. Spears comes up with a loose puck now. Spears takes the hit from Perez. Tries to swing it in front. It's intercepted by Rupert. Now they jam away for it in the near side corner. Lavarado ushers it out up the near side for Piagai to retrieve, but it's intercepted at the red line by Perez, who stood up. Now Delbonis on the carry-in. Delbonis, shoulder to shoulder from Perez, loses the puck to Aiden Rupert. Past the midway mark here of the first period. As a near giveaway, McDowell, though, able to clean that up, and will skate it out to neutral ice. Gains the red line, and Santa Clara able to complete their change. Dakota Binniger takes the hit from Piagai. Demo may have gotten the worst of that. The puck still pinned up along the near side boards, and a face-off forthcoming in the defensive end for the Gauchos with 9:25 to go in the first period. Hey, everyone can play hockey at Ice in Paradise. Ice in Paradise offers skating school for all ages, as well as the Goleta Youth Hockey League, Monarchs Girls Ice Hockey Club, and the Santa Barbara Ice Hawks travel team. More information on the web at iceinparadise.org. Off the draw, Hahn makes the save on the seeing eye wrister from Cameron Burke. Vieira for Piagai. Now we'll work it forward for Owasiak. Stood up at the line by Burke. And on the second try, Burke does well. May have closed his hand on the puck, though. He saw a little bit of noise from the Gaucho bench.
I think he might have gotten away with that one.
Vieira. Now the Gauchos breaking through center. Herlihy into the near side corner. Barone had it speared away from him for Lavarado. Lavarado. And Santa Clara looks for the change. Head of steam for Emmett Rupert. He stood up at the blue line, and now Phil Park will lead the charge. Park gives it up near side boards for Perez. Perez, under duress, gives back for Park. Stick lifted from behind by Tyler Barone. Both of those two used to play on the same team down in San Diego. Stub shot in the slot by Perez comes for Hood near side boards, back to the point for Park. Sent behind the net, looking for Binniger. Binniger threw it in front. Puck still sits there, and the Gauchos ultimately able to get the clear. Nice stick at the line by Park. Dispossessed McGroney, but a giveaway. Stratego shoots and a save by Nix confidently on top of his crease with 7:49 to go in the first.
And we have a man down along the side of the boards. It looks like Phil Park. He's going to get up under his own power, but he took a really hard hit right over here along the boards from, I believe it was Mingroni. And he's a little shaken up, but I think he'll be all right. Got his bell rung. He definitely went into the boards at kind of an awkward angle. Looked like he was down almost kind of half off balance when he got hit. I think Santa Clara asking where the call was on that one, but I don't think any of the officials on the ice actually saw it, or if they did, they deemed it a clean hit.
Offensive zone draw for UCSB as Delbonis and Rupert have a few words here. Hood swoops to steal the draw win. Give and go. Hood with space, shoots and a save by Hahn.
And that's a big save for Hahn to start building that confidence back up, robbing Hood of that first period hat trick.
Hood back to the line for McDowell. His shot through traffic may have hit the cuff of the glove of Hahn. Santa Clara still controls. Along the near side boards. Losing the footing and the puck, Kyle Perez. Cooper Spears. Shot in, save made, rebound. Nix had to reel that one back in as, correction, that was Austin Trenner with the lobbed wrister from the blue line and trying to follow up on it.
Just one little extra tap at the end. That's one thing you can do to kind of get under a goalie's skin. They really don't tolerate that stuff very well, and you can see defensemen don't tolerate it very much either, but just trying to get up in Nix's grill a little bit, maybe try to get him off their game so he lets one through.
Boardingham, another defensive zone draw won by the Broncos. UCSB, though, intercepts at the blue line. Spears was unable to walk it and walk it back in. Brown, the carry, pass across, unable to connect Lavarado. Boardingham couldn't corral Goldser, but the poke check knocked it free for Lavarado. Lavarado can't get past the marking of Goldser, plays it to the line. McDowell holds it in. Brown back to the line. McDowell throws it in front. Hahn does well to hold the near side post and hold for the faceoff with 6:32 to go in the first period.
And a lot of credit to what Santa Clara has done both in the defense and offensive zones here tonight. They have moved the puck very efficiently and kept it away from where UCSB is. If they know the Gauchos are overloading one side, they're moving it to the open lane so they have space to either skate with it or make an uninterrupted pass that usually winds up going into a threatening position. That last play, Gauchos are lucky that one pass didn't get through across the net, or it was a 4x6 to bury it into.
Breaking forward for UCSB, Owasiak throws it to the slot, sticked away by Nix. trying to catch the cutting Evelhoch. Guy back to pick it up, turns it over to the man you don't want to, A.J. Hood. Hood in up the right wing, dangles behind the net, tried to pick the near corner glove side and shot it into the netting. It's interesting, Kyle, when you look at the hometowns, the players for both these teams, so many Santa Barbara locals on the side for the Gauchos this season. Meanwhile, you look at Santa Clara, players from Illinois, from Arizona, from Minnesota, from Delaware, from New Jersey, from Idaho.
Definitely a difference in the way these teams have kind of recruited their players. Also a very strong testament to the way hockey has grown so rapidly here in the Santa Barbara area since this beautiful building here at Ice in Paradise has opened, now in its third year of hosting UCSB hockey.
It doesn't hurt as well that the Santa Clara University program has been a rec sport for the Broncos since all the way back in 2006. This season for UCSB is a false start on the draw. The second season in the American Collegiate Hockey Association's second division. First year that ice hockey at UCSB has been granted club sports status here at UCSB. Off the draw, Guy will angle it out. Park.
And they'll wave the icing off.
Had words for the linesman after that washout. Took the hit to play the puck forward. But it's held in at the line for a moment by Evelhoch. Rupert scales it up and
Heads
out.
up. Nice catch.
And a fantastic grab by the gentleman in the 2014 King Stanley Cup hat. Mere feet from our broadcast vantage point here at Ice in Paradise, rink right.
I think there's a baseball team down in Los Angeles about to go play a very important series that probably could use that catching ability.
Yeah, I think they got it pretty well handled. 11-1 to clinch.
You can never really be too light on personnel around this time of the year. Although that's more of a Stanley Cup playoffs thing than a World Series, I would imagine.
Draw in neutral ice. Andrew Seitz had it taken away from behind by Cooper Spears. He curls and wheels up the left boards. Bounces it in on Nix. Blockers it down to the near side boards. McDowell lost it to Barone. Barone poked away from behind. Rupert had it deflected away for Brendan Boardingham. Boardingham, 2-on-1, pass across. Hahn made the save on sight.
Great lateral movement from Hahn on that one.
Danger still lurks, and Hahn has Sight's number again with 4:53 to go in the first.
Few nervous moments early on for Hahn. It looks like he's found his legs. Those two saves, spectacular ones. Goals given up late here in this first period. You'd have to imagine going down 3-0 would be a bit of a dagger for UCSB. There's a long way still to go, but those are the saves you just love when your goaltender gets for you.
Gauchos win the defensive zone draw. Goldser angles it forward. Spears bearing down on Burke. Curls away from him. Barone took it kicked from him by McGroney. Plays it behind the net. McDowell retrieves for the Broncos, who scored both of their goals in the first 2 minutes and 3 seconds of the game. Played back out. McGroney will retrieve and give for Seitz, who angles it behind the net where Boardingham picks it up. Boardingham, 2 white shirts on him, sends it back to the point for Burke. Burke, shot, saved by Hahn, may have caught Mask. And the Gauchos go glassing out.
Use whatever you can to stop that puck, even if it takes your head.
Backhanded in by Hood. Sends Rupert back to chase and retrieve. Nice forecheck by Perez creates the turnover for Binniger. But Binniger wiped out, and Awasiuk able to clear to neutral ice. Now Evelhoch skating forward. Evelhoch hesitates, tried to play it to the slot. 2 black shirts got sticks on it as Perez touches it forward. Gallant able to clear the zone, and Binniger brings it in. Santa Clara offside, 3:25 to go in the first.
Another one that was fairly close at that blue line. That would have been a 3-on-2 back the other way.
It is worth noting out when we talked about the returning players for the Gauchos. Michael Evelhoch, the junior out of Livermore, is one of those players. Head coach Scott Hires praising the effort that he brings to every practice and every game. It's the sort of hustle that you just can't teach for number 6 in white. As Awasiak couldn't complete the pass. A.J. Hood now blazing in up the right wing. Hood curls around the net, throws it to the slot. Cleared but intercepted by Binniger. Back to the line, it goes out to neutral ice, where Hood for Park sends it for Binniger. Binniger sends it back in behind for the Gauchos to retrieve, with under 3 to go here in the first period. Boardingham had to stand up at the red line and ultimately creates the turnover for Aiden Rupert. Park, stretch pass too far. It hopped the stick though of Liam Gallant. So he'll just blast this one out off the boards. And not enough legs on it for icing as Nix had to put it on a tee for Burke.
That works out for UCSB, a 4-man change back behind the forechecker.
McDowell spears in on him. Does well to shield the puck away from him, but his pass offline for Seitz. Oh, and Seitz, I think, has a real case here.
I think he does too.
He was ahead of Dimitri Piagai, the last defenseman back for UCSB.
I think that was not a good icing call. We were talking about players for UCSB, the returning players. It's worth noting there is one not in uniform here this evening, but who is back on the team. Number 4, Christian Okpish, not with the team here this evening, expected to be back next game.
All the best to Ox and family, as now the officials have come together and made the correct decision to drop this one off from center ice.
That sounds about right. That definitely was not an icing call. Of course, using the same hybrid icing rules as those who are fans of the National Hockey League, remember.
Barone pushes the draw forward for Spears. Correction, that was Trenner. Trenner out there with Spears and Barone. A little bit of line blender from Scott Hires and staff here in the first period as pass through Barone, curls behind the net. Burke retrieves, touch for McDowell. Now Lavarado. Spears poked it free for the carry-in. Thrown to the slot by Vieira. Barone forces the puck play to the near side boards for Spears. For Barone, for Spears, shoots headhunter shot over top of the blocker of Nix.
That didn't miss the crossbar by much either.
Piagai seeing eye wrister couldn't be put on net by Trenner. And McDowell ultimately able to break out with it for Santa Clara. McDowell threw it to the slot. Piagai intercepted. Spears tried to go between the legs to pick it up. Santa Clara sends it back behind for the Gauchos to retrieve as we approach 1 minute remaining here in the open period of the 2017-18 season. Center to the slot. Saved by Frankie Nix. Hauled down from behind Tyler Barone. Now it looks like we have the first power play of the game coming up for the Gauchos with 54.9 to go in the first period, and Kyle Perez sitting down for 2 minutes or less.
And file that one away under penalties you take happily. That penalty wasn't taken. Barone had a wide open shot with Frankie Nix moving side to side. That is almost a for sure goal if that shot gets off. You take that penalty as a defender all the time. Great presence of mind from Barone to get into that open ice. Now we get our first opportunity to see the special teams for UCSB. They were a bit of a problem for this team last year, but the penalty kill more so than the power play. Let's see how this team moves the puck around and generates some offense.
Vieira from the point, pass back. Spears fans at the bottom of the far circle. And held in by Awasiak. Vieira switches for Rupert. Can't connect with Spears with under 30 seconds to go in the period. Del Bonis bodied up along the boards. And ultimately Park will get possession, play it to the line, held in by Vieira. 15 seconds to go in the first. Curled around by Rupert for Park. To the line, knocked down Rupert. Hesitating, waiting. Rupert curling near corner. 3 seconds behind the net. Bentz calls for a shot, and the Gauchos will run out of racetrack here in the first period trailing 2-0 on the strength of a pair of goals by A.J. Hood. Kyle Nicolas, your impressions for the opening 20 minutes of action of this, the third season of the Ice in Paradise era for ice hockey at UCSB.
I think it was pretty obvious that there were some nerves on the Gaucho bench for the first 5 minutes or so. I think those 2 goals definitely kind of woke them up a little bit. Not long after that, though, they seemed to kind of get their act together. They started generating a lot more offense, got a few more shots to the net. I think at the end of that period, they once again kind of got it back out. A lot of credit to the way Santa Clara defended in that period, though. Kept as much as they possibly could away towards the outside and away from the high danger scoring areas in front of Frankie Nix. They're going to have to find a way to get into those areas, and they're also going to have to find a way to slow down A.J. Hood. 2 goals in the span of about 2 minutes to start the game. I think he made his reputation very well known very early on.
Ice Hockey at UCSB is on every major social media platform. Be sure to like the Gauchos on Facebook at facebook.com/icehockeyucsb. Follow us on Twitter at UCSB Ice Hockey, on Instagram, UCSB Ice Hockey. And of course, if you're out here to attend a game at Ice in Paradise, be sure to use the special Ice Hockey at UCSB Snapchat filter. It's a great way to get social with your Gauchos all season. And Kyle, new through the work of you for 2017-18, Gaucho fans can watch video broadcasts for every game here at Ice in Paradise on Facebook Live.
On Facebook. So like the Facebook page, you will get a notification every time a game goes live. Really, that should kind of be a notification to, hey, get your butt down to the rink, come enjoy some good hockey down here. But if you can't be here, tune in. Watch for us online, enjoy the game, and hopefully we'll see you out here at Ice in Paradise at one point this season.
It's the first of 2 for the Gauchos on opening weekend against Santa Clara, but after 1, UCSB trails by 2. Eric Evelhoch and Kyle Nicolas with you on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. We step aside for a brief break. When we'll return, we'll have the scoring summary and more. This is Ice Hockey at UCSB Action, the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. First intermission here at Ice in Paradise in Goleta sees ice hockey at UCSB trailing the Santa Clara University Broncos 2-0. Eric Evelhoch and Kyle Nicolas with you on the Center Ice Santa Barbara intermission report. Center Ice Santa Barbara is located in Goleta, the premier destination for hockey and figure skating equipment and apparel at 7127 Hollister Avenue, Suite 8. Visit centericesb.com. Center Ice is spelled the Canadian way, CENTRE. Well, Kyle, we talked in the pregame about the Gauchos trying to incorporate new faces, and the Santa Barbara Royals, the two-time champions of the Los Angeles Kings High School Hockey League. How do you like the way that the youngsters, Hahn, Awasiuk, Delbonis, Rupert, all acquitted themselves in their opening 20 minutes of ACHA action?
I thought Will Hahn was excellent. I thought he made some excellent saves towards the end of that period to keep this at a 2-0 deficit. It very easily could have been 3 or 4 with a couple of the opportunities that the Broncos were able to gain. And I also was very impressed with the look specifically from Chris Awasiuk. He is fast, he skates hard, he is up and down the ice, and he is not afraid to throw his weight around either. That is the type of player that Coach Scott Hires is going to love throwing over the boards shift after shift, and you can see why he's going to be banking on him. I remember specifically, there were a couple times where he tried to come in and just barrel his way down one of the two wings. The only difference is he's not necessarily playing against high school players anymore.
No, he's not.
He's not. It's a lot harder to get through college-level defenses that are ready for that level of speed coming at them. Now, there are a few times where a couple of these new players, again, tried to skate the puck over the blue line. Santa Clara is playing their blue line extraordinarily well so far tonight. They are really making the Gauchos have to work to get over it, and so far, really the only attacks the Gauchos have had have kind of just ended up in dumps onto Frankie Nix.
Before we get to the specific tactical breakdown, Kyle, I do want to shout out another first-year player in Austin Trenner, an alumni of the San Jose Sharks High School Hockey League. Trenner, who played for the Southeast Synergy in the Sharks High School Hockey League. He had a couple good looks as well, but as you mentioned, those good looks were extremely hard to come by for the Gauchos. What was Santa Clara doing defensively to make it so difficult for ice hockey at UCSB?
Very high pressure as soon as the Gauchos got over the blue line, if they even let them over the blue line. The quicker you can get out and get on a team as they're coming over the blue line, you're either going to force a dump, force a scrambled pass, or force something in on the goaltender. For the most part, UCSB, most of their opportunities ended in nothing more than a harmless fluttering shot in on Frankie Nix, or it ended up either getting taken off their stick, dumped away, cleared away, something along those lines. The Gauchos really didn't have a lot of opportunities in the high danger area of the ice, which is essentially take, the edges of the goal crease, extend them out roughly to about the face-off dots, and then go straight back to about the tops of the circles and across. That home plate shape is really what defines the high danger area. The Gauchos didn't have a whole lot of chances in there. They had a couple, but most of them didn't really end their way. Really, the only one that I can really remember was one that Strategos got a pass through to him, and he just couldn't quite handle it. Wound up going fluttering harmlessly wide into the corner.
Ice hockey at UCSB will have 66 seconds or less of power play time remaining to begin the second period with the oft-discussed by announcers fresh seat of ice. But what do you want to see tactically from the Gauchos to take advantage of this man up? We saw last year that UCSB used their power play opportunities to get their offense going against a stifling Santa Clara side.
And to see this power play succeed, I would like to see them use their points. The high players on this penalty kill for Santa Clara don't seem to want to venture too far beyond roughly the tops of the circles, which is leaving a lot of space for those point men. That's something that a player like Andrew Vieira is going to be able to utilize his speed, his skating, and get the puck into an open lane in order to either fire a low shot and hope for a tip, hope for a screen, or redistribute it, send it to someone down low, and maybe try to work a shot in from a lower area where they can get in on top of Frankie Nix. And you mentioned Austin Trenner earlier. I've been very impressed with the way Trenner is unafraid to go to the front of the net so far here tonight. I've seen him take 2-3 very hard hits, even got more or less essentially tackled at one point in front of the net because he had just a little bit of body position and a puck went trickling through to the front of the net. Santa Clara is not afraid to play physical, Austin Trenner is also not afraid to go to those danger areas and try to earn himself some scoring chances.
Let's close out the Center Ice Santa Barbara first intermission report by taking a look at the scoring summary. Brought to you by Center Ice Santa Barbara on the web. Center Ice, SB Center spelled the Canadian way, Centre. Well, it did not take long for the visitors to go in front, as just 1 minute in, A.J. Hood scored his 4th goal of the season, assisted by Kyle Perez and Mark McDowell. He would add to it another minute and 3 seconds later at the 2:03 mark, scoring an unassisted goal off of a giveaway by the UCSB defense. Those the only goals to apprise you of in the opening period of action, which, according to technical director and statistician Jasmine Kellogg, saw the Gauchos outshoot Santa Clara by a 13-11 margin. Teams back on the ice for the second period of action. And the Gauchos, for their history here in the time at Ice in Paradise, the first games of the season, Kyle, always seem to be so incredibly dramatic. The first year, you think about the team captained by Alex Wood-Doughty coming back from down by 3 to take a 1-goal lead before ultimately being forced to overtime and losing in the extra session to Chapman University. And of course, last year, the furious third period rally against Santa Rosa Junior College. Ice hockey at UCSB hoping they can replicate similar magic as we saw in the first time on this glistening Goleta sheet last year.
There we are. And the biggest key to getting that going is going to be getting one behind Frankie Nix. All it really takes is just getting that to build up some confidence, starting to generate some offense, and the Gauchos are still going to have a very good opportunity to do it. You mentioned 66 seconds of power play time still. With the fresh sheet of ice, this is a big opportunity for UCSB to get in, generate some good offense, get some pucks moving around the Santa Clara defense, and start peppering Nix with some good shots.
It is worth noting in the series between these two teams last year that Santa Clara was never able to take a multiple goal lead in either of the contests. The Gauchos looking to cut in to a 2-0 deficit here as we begin the second period of play. Far side boards, Michael Herlihy stretches it forward for Cooper Spears. Spears with his dangle on, backhands it in on Nix, who seals it off and holds for the draw.
Now that would be one of the plays where I think if I was Coach Scott Hires, I appreciate Cooper's, I should say, enthusiasm to shoot the puck, but that's not necessarily a shot you want to be taking when you're a man up. If you don't really have the angle, that's something you kind of want to loop back to your point men, start working that puck around, and hopefully generate either a good point shot or get something into that high danger area.
Delbonis won the draw, but a good hold in at the line. No, they didn't, as now it's a hand pass call to Spears. And heavy into the near side boards with Boardingham.
And that was a good call. That was a hand pass on the Gauchos.
40 seconds remaining in the first power play of the game for ice hockey at UCSB, as Vieira will slap it in hard around. Herlihy giving chase. Nix out to spear it forward for Lavarado. Lavarado drags it into the near side corner. Gauchos will re-rack behind their own net as Emmett Rupert takes the hit to move the puck forward, but Mark McDowell intercepts and plays it back near center red. Now just a straight giveaway that Lavarado will see it the rest of the way for Boardingham. Boardingham behind the net, touches it back behind, and Santa Clara has killed the first power play of the game, and a giveaway! And a save made by Hahn as A.J. Hood left all alone at the bottom of the near circle. Hahn with the paddle down.
And some rotten luck for UCSB there. It looks like a little bit of undried ice just caught that puck and stopped it dead. If you've ever played hockey, you know jumping onto a fresh ice sheet right as the Zamboni comes off, there's puddles all over the ice. That is just stops the puck dead if it hits one of those, and that's what happened there. UCSB lucky that that one didn't wind up costing them.
Santa Clara wins the offensive zone draw. Vinegar's attempted pass to the slot intercepted by Awasiuk. Awasiuk works it forward for Barone. He's out there with Goldser as well. Barone in the high slot, tried to angle it through for Goldser, couldn't get past Burke. But now a giveaway. Barone lobs it forward. Goldser steered away by Binniger and then poked to the near corner by Nix. Barone also last season finished tied for the team lead in assists with Vieira. Now battles for it on the near side boards. And the Broncos. Maybe another puddle there preventing the clear by Perez. Barone, Binniger knocked it off of him. Puck played in the air. Now Santa Clara can't get the wheels turning. Barone, pass across, it's intercepted by Burke. Flexed forward. Now McDowell. His shot steered away by Gallant. Hood in the far corner. Ridden off it behind the net. Helmet comes off for Liam Gallant, and the whistle immediately goes. That's another thing. When a player loses their helmet, officials will immediately call the play dead at this level.
And that is for player safety. You recognize at the professional level, maybe guys are willing to take a few more risks, but these being student club athletes, you don't want to risk anybody taking a puck or a wayward elbow to the head, especially while it's unprotected.
Off the draw, a sneaky shot from Chris Brown fluttered high over the top. Brown with it again. Plays it to the high slot. Seitz couldn't kick for control. Park, though, regathers and wraps it in behind Hans Cage. Vieira. Couldn't get the return feed from Chris Cruz Holloway. Vieira for Cruz Holloway, the sophomore out of Palo Alto. Angles it forward for Cooper Spears. Spears, shot from distance wide and will rim back out into the Gaucho defensive end. 12 goals last season by Cooper Spears, led all Gaucho players. He did that in just 10 games played, missing the last 5 games of the year with injury. Spears, angled off his stick. Now a chance for a 2-on-1 perhaps. Binniger hesitates. Curled it back to the slot behind Perez. A great job by Piagai, laying out to prevent the pass back against the grain.
And well timed on that one as well. Going down while going backwards like that onto your stomach, if you don't get that pass, you are a sitting duck. Well timed from Piagai to force that play and essentially make that pass wind up incomplete.
McDowell waiting to lead the breakout from behind his own net with 4 minutes, 10 seconds played here in the second period. Perez curls near side boards, switches to the opposite point for Cameron Burke. Burke backhands it to the near corner. It'll settle there for Vieira. Hood for Perez. Knocked down as he tried to put it in front for Binniger. And now a chance for a 2-on-1 for the Gauchos. Herlihy with Spears. Herlihy hesitates.
Save made by Nix.
UCSB resets in their own end. Mangroni angles it in. Nix will wrap it away. The far boards from Goldser. And now it's rolled out by Hood. For the shoot back in by Emmett Rupert. Brendan Boardingham leading the charge. Dropped it back. Nobody home. Barone wiped out, but able to make the pass. The shot by Owasiak stopped by Nix. You can feel the Gauchos swinging the play here. Just have been unable to get the breakthrough thus far.
And I think a large chunk of that comes from the fact that Santa Clara seems to be leaving a lot of their marks to go after and take some body contact. UCSB throwing a few very effective hits in their own end to take Santa Clara off the puck. Santa Clara taking a bit of an exception to that, and that might be putting them just out of position. That is what gave the 2-on-1 that Michael Herlihy just unfortunately wasn't able to get it by Nix. Good patient goaltending from the Santa Clara goaltender to wait for the shooter to make the first move before reacting.
Delbonis Wins the draw, driving into the front of the net. It's backhanded just wide by Strategos. Santa Clara angles it out off the near side boards. Hahn tees it up for Rupert. We'll curl it back in the corner and switch for Adam Mingroni. Touched forward. Strategos had it knocked away, and then will shoot it back in behind. Nix touched for Burke. To the point. Rupert holds in. Bouncing shot just wide of the stick side.
You never know what happens with a bouncing puck.
Park, the Bronco captain, able to corral and play it forward. Dakota Binniger sends it far side for Brown. Back for Binniger. He scores! A pretty give and go for the Boise, Idaho native Binniger, and Santa Clara is ahead 3-0.
A perfectly executed odd man rush by Santa Clara, recognizing the Gauchos had just one player back. I believe it was Piagai that had stepped up on that play in order to try to seal in, and it just wound up a quick 2-on-1 the other way. Almost defended. Unfortunately, that pass got through the back defender, and not much that Hahn could do in order to keep that one out. Santa Clara just passed it right around him, and that's a bit of an unfortunate break for UCSB. Really feel like they had been the better team to that point in this period. Just not quite anything to show for it, and now unfortunately another one down the hill to climb gets even taller.
5 different players have had hands in the offense for Santa Clara so far tonight. This goal will be announced. Binniger from Brown at 6:27 here in the second period of play as a hand pass will set up a face-off in neutral ice.
UCSB they're not out of this yet. They have a long way to go with this one, and they are starting to build some confidence in their offensive zone. They're getting a few more mistakes out of Santa Clara. Unfortunately, just one little one winds up costing them again. Long way to go, but they can start getting some shots in here on Frankie Nix. I feel like they have a good chance of finally getting one back.
Far boards Laverato to the point. It's held in. Shot from there by Connor May goes wide. Farboard shot by Spears, too much pace on it. Comes back out to neutral ice for May. The freshman from Fresno turned it over. Laverato's shot deflects up and out of play. Like he was hitting his pitching wedge there. Laverato, also an avid golfer growing up in Calgary. He was the youngest person to make the cut at the 2014 Alberta Men's Amateur Tournament. Number 14 for Santa Clara, Michael Laverato.
Well, there does seem to be a thing for hockey players in playing golf. It's a very popular off-season activity. Apparently for Laverato, it's also an in-season activity.
McDowell from the line, deflects off the end boards for Hood. Hood, Vieira tracking him. Goldser delivers the hip check. McDowell from the point. The shot deflected wide by Piagai. Brown, staple gun to the boards by Goldser. Stretched forward by Schutz. Now here comes Colin Delbonis. Delbonis tries to backhand it to the front of the net, given a rough ride from Cameron Burke. Bouncing puck by Goldser. Lob to the near post, and now everyone comes together after the puck freezed.
Cooler heads, I think, going to prevail in this one. Some little bit of extra pleasantries at the end of that one as UCSB just looking for maybe just an inkling of a puck that might be loose.
This is my surprised face that it was Dimitri Piagai and Justin Goldser getting involved in that, as it looks like now.
Who would have known it would have been those two, right?
We will have coincidental minors with both Goldser and Cameron Burke sitting down for roughing infractions after the whistle with 12:11 to go here in the second period. A.J. Hood. Cooper Spears now with it for the Gauchos. Far boards. His shot steered to the mesh netting behind by Nix. And Kyle, you play hockey. It is irregular to see a left-handed goalie. How does that make your mentality as a scorer and as a shooter change, or does it?
It just kind of depends. Generally, it might make some players go towards the opposite side a little bit more. I know as a right-handed shooter myself, I love going against right-handed catchers because naturally I'm inclined to shoot up towards what's my right-hand side, which is the blocker hand on one of those goalies. And generally, for most goaltenders, blocker hand is the weaker side. So for right-handed shooters, it might be a bit of an advantage.
A.J. Hood walking in alone. Nice poke check by Hahn.
That's some confident goaltending right there.
Spears comes back, and a whistle, and Barone would have walked in all alone, but referee Andy Mack, seeing the pushing and shoving behind the play from A.J. Hood and Dimitri Piagai, has elected to blow play dead, and I think both are going to be seated down here. It's funny, speaking with staff advisor Susan Goodale between periods, she mentioned, Kyle, that the ACHA has made a special emphasis on preventing fights in the early going of the 2017-18 season.
It's been a very physical opening to the year for the ACHA this season. Piagai still having words over in the penalty box. Clearly not happy about that. Now, what did happen, A.J. Hood took a very hard hit after the play back behind the net after that poke check save from Hahn. When he got up, he took an extra shot at Piagai. I don't know if Piagai was the one who hit him or not, but he did take an extra shot at Piagai. Piagai did not like that extra shot he took. It was a nice cross check just below the shoulder pads. One of those ones that really stings you. And you can tell this one's kind of getting a little bit of frustration for the Gauchos.
Hahn, the high glove save on the clear in from neutral ice. Piagai doing his best Drew Doughty on Matthew Tkachuk impersonation in the box there a little bit earlier. Puck in the near side corner. Barone battling for it there. Behind the net it goes for Awasiak. Thrown to the slot. Spears just couldn't corral it. Barone with it again. Behind the net for Spears. Throws it in front. To the line. Negroni walks with it. Gives it for Barone. Barone sharp angle shot in front. Nick's able to steer it forward for Park. And flops it forward for Boardingham. Boardingham one-on-one with Awasiak. Walks to the front. Save by Hahn. Rebound. Hahn makes another save with the left pad. Gauchos clear the dangers. McGroney gets it ahead, and now Barone on a breakaway. Barone, a great job defensively by Benninger coming back to tie him up.
And Benninger at full speed. Barone just didn't quite have the ability to accelerate away from him.
Herlihy along the end boards, kicked the puck free, couldn't connect with Spears. Boardingham leads the Bronco charge. Boardingham taken in hard to the end boards by Rupert.
And I think the Gauchos are going to get a penalty here.
Yep, Rupert will be called for it, and now Rupert a little bit extra after the fact for Boardingham. It rarely looks good seeing a big 6'2" defenseman giving a little bit extra to a 5'10" forward. And a bit of a dangerous play for the freshman from Santa Barbara with one tick ahead of the midway mark of the second period.
Let alone a 5'10" forward standing there with his hands up in the air saying, I'm not doing anything, what am I doing, why is this guy beating on me? A little bit of frustration boiling over here for UCSB, and now they have to kill their first penalty. We talked about it a lot last season. This was the big bugaboo for ice hockey at UCSB. Not good when they went down a man last season, only successful roughly about 60% of the time.
Off the draw, Park, who led the team with 4 power play assists last year. 2 of them came against ice hockey at UCSB. Oh, the attempted clear there by Vieira. Hit a Bronco, but on the second try, he's able to get it out. Of the 5 goals that the Broncos scored against Santa Barbara last season, 4 of them came on the power play. The first 30 seconds of their first opportunity of the evening have elapsed. Kyle Perez feeds forward for Benninger. Benninger sharp angle shot off the outside netting. Vieira sweeps it for Gallant. Will send it around Hardway opposite side.
No messing around for this Gaucho penalty kill. They're getting possession of the puck, and that thing's going 200 feet. That is the most effective way to kill off a penalty.
Lavarado on the carry-in. Hesitates, far side boards. Now Seitz. Switches for Cameron Burke. Perez. Shrugs off the hit and plays it back to the line for Burke. Seitz throws it in front, kicked away by Vieira, and out it goes. 30 seconds remaining in the Gaucho penalty. Next stoppage in play, A.J. Hood and Dimitri Piagai will both be available for their sides. As the shot from the line, Lavarado, it rolls in on Hahn, and he'll freeze it with 8:21 to go here in the second period.
If every shot a goaltender faces on the power play is exactly like that one, Will Hahn is going to be a very happy man killing a penalty. You rely on your goaltender to be the best penalty killer. That's one way to do it. UCSB looking very strong so far.
Big spot here for freshman Colin Delbonis against Brendan Boardingham. Wins the defensive zone draw, but Piagai can't get the clear. To the line, it's touchback for Boardingham. Boardingham gives it up for Seitz. Plays it far boards for McDowell. McDowell off the boot of Spears and out to neutral ice, and the Gauchos have killed their first penalty against of the evening. First power play opportunity for Santa Clara, to be more precise in verbiage. As Piagai for Vieira. Now Goldser. Spears. Shot gloved by Nix. No real danger with that being taken from the right point.
Looked like it was going well wide, but Nix, a little flair for the dramatic, gets out there, throws the leg pad out, and makes it look like a more difficult glove save than perhaps it actually was, but good to slow the game down, and the Gauchos will take the offensive zone faceoff.
We've spoken, Kyle, during the game about Frankie Nix being an elite-level ACHA goalie. What really makes a goalie stand out at this level?
Positioning. If you keep an eye on Frankie Nix, he is moving very little when he has to make those saves because he has his body square to the shooter at all times.
Puck out to neutral ice, where it'll be backhanded by McGroney for Rupert. Turnover to Hood. He'll curl back with it himself. Hood with it again. Carries in one-on-one. His shot deflected by McGroney wide. Pass couldn't connect for Trenner. And now activating Burke. Tried to give it up for Hood. Barone plays it off the boards to himself. Got his hustle on. Barone drops it back, couldn't link up with Trenner. And now McDowell on the intercept. Stretches it forward for Vinegar. Vinegar curls it around behind for McDowell. Back to the point. Boardingham holds on his backhand, now steps forward. Shot. Hahn handles easily with 6:29 to go in the second period. Gauchos now chasing 3 in the middle frame.
And that one may have been deflected on the way in as well. Hahn having to get out on top of his crease and then make a reactionary save. There's really no predicting where a puck is going to go when it gets tipped like that. Nonetheless, good, solid fundamentals and quality goaltending from the Gaucho netminder.
Boardingham and Spears on the draw for their respective sides. Cooper wins the defensive zone draw for the Gauchos. And will try and play it forward. He took a heavy hit behind the play from Andrew Seitz. Now Boardingham takes a big hip check from Goldser as Gallant stretches it forward to him. Nix, of course, no trapezoid here in the ACHA, so he's able to come out and play that, much as you might have seen Martin Brodeur or Marty Turco do back in the 2003-2004 season. Spears tried to walk it to the top, didn't get through. Mays shot from the line, blocked as well by the wall of black shirts. Here comes Chris Brown. Brown drop pass. Save made by Hahn, and the stinging wrister from Aiden Rupert.
And again, Hahn will take those shots all day long. Those are routine saves. Only problem is the Gauchos also not putting a whole lot more in the way of threatening shots back the other direction on Nix. Doing a little better this period in terms of getting some chances, but nonetheless, the counterattack from Santa Clara always threatening.
Vieira off the one draw by Delbonis. Held in at the near point for a moment by Burke, but Piagai on the intercept, and he'll skate it out. Piagai, switch back for Vieira. Hood takes it away from him for a moment. Played it to the slot, to nobody in particular. Sent wide for Trenner. Trenner shot, Nix the save, and he holds for the face-off. Trenner went down as if to sell a high stick. He's got to
be careful he doesn't take a retaliation penalty here.
A couple mitts after the fact for both Cameron Burke and Mark McDowell.
We talk a lot about season opening performances. I don't think we can take away from one that we had last season. Cooper Spears, his first game with ice hockey at UCSB against a team that this Santa Clara team is very familiar with, Santa Rosa Junior College. Spears netted 4 goals, including the game winner, with roughly about 3 minutes to go in regulation.
Gauchos hoping for a similar offensive outburst in the later stages of action here. But so far, it's been Santa Clara keeping them under wraps. And they win the puck battle there with Lavarado carrying it forward. Lavarado touches it behind the net. Delbonis had it taken away by Lavarado for Boardingham. Lavarado. Vieira will intercept and play for Piagai with 4:45 to go in the second period. Stretch pass ahead. Cooper Spears on his horse. Is about even with Phil Park. Tie goes to the defender, icing the call.
Yeah, very close again. I think Park did have just a very slight inside edge on him. Nonetheless, a good effort from Spears to try to chase that one down. He's looked very good here tonight. He looks fast, he looks strong, and he's also throwing his weight around a lot more than we got accustomed to last season.
The sophomore out of Santa Barbara who played some junior hockey in the Rocky Mountain Junior Hockey League with Pikes Peak a couple years ago. Delbonis will carry in up the right wing, drops it back for Spears, shoots, and a glove save by Frankie Nix. Easy as you like for number 33 in the red, black, and white.
Frankie Nix coming way out 2 or 3 feet in front of his crease to make that save. When you have a goaltender roughly Frankie Nix's size, 5'11", not a small guy, so that doesn't really give you a whole lot to shoot at. I mean, he's no Ben Bishop, but at the same time, you get a goaltender who comes out on top of their crease like that, it's very hard to pick the corners on him.
Face-off controlled forward for Hood. Great turn by McDowell, and now Hood in one-on-one with Hahn. Will with a big-time save to keep it a 3-goal deficit.
And Hood has gotten the better of Hahn twice, and he has not done it since. That's the 3rd or 4th excellent save that Hahn has made on the leading point getter for the Broncos, A.J. Hood. He has really come into his own in this game.
Twice named the top goaltender in the LA Kings High School Hockey League, winning the Rogie Vachon Award. Hahn making some big stops here for the Gauchos and kicks away another one from the blue line there. Barone for Goldser. Justin will chip in for the chase. Behind the net. McDowell. Backhanded from the point. Now sent back out for Rupert. Through traffic, hit the leg of the forward in front of him. Now his pass intercepted by Cameron Burke. Ahead for Hood, shoots, Hahn the save. Burke tracks down the rebound for Hood behind the net. Hood, backhander to the front of the slot. Just unable to settle it, but it's sent wide by the late arriving Burke. Goldser tries to stretch it far boards for Barone. Icing waved, as McDowell may have gotten a touch on it at the blue line, far side, rolls in harmlessly on Nix. 3:23 to go, period 2.
Santa Clara seeming to be very content just hanging back, playing defense here in this period, and then trying to hit UCSB on the counterattack. They do have that speed through the neutral zone, and it is starting to put a lot of pressure on the young Gaucho defense, but UCSB, the more shots that they can direct at this goaltender, the better off they're going to be when it comes to getting some by them.
Brown wedged off the puck near boards, but on the second try, he'll be able to skate it out. A sweep check by Gallant to force him to shoot it in behind. Connor May plays for Gallant. Stretches forward. Nice tip handle by Owasiuk. He'll go track it down in the far corner. Owasiuk had his stick lifted from behind, and now Park will lead the Bronco breakout. Boardingham stood up. Now Colin Delbonis for Spears. Hesitates, shoots, blocked wide by Park. On the second try, sharp angle shot. Nix handled it. Owasiuk sends it behind the net to the far boards for Park. Backhands it on the half boards for Lavarado. And Santa Clara able to clear. Spears wanted to wheel with it. It was taken away by Lavarado. Lavarado curls behind the net. Pass back to the point for McDowell. Will sweep it deeper for Kyle Perez. Separated from the puck by Gallant. The attempted pass, unable to link up with anybody. Stretch pass too far for Park. On the second try, it's intercepted. Aiden Rupert. Nice job on the poke check from behind, but
he is going to take a penalty.
Getting the extra arm free. Connor May will be called for holding now with 1:39 to go in the second period. The sweep check was okay, but that second arm coming around like a claw is what will earn him the 2 minutes in the box.
And so many times when the new standard of officiating on holding came into the NHL and really the whole hockey world by proxy, that caught so many players off guard. It's for a long time been the way you are taught to play defense, but a lot of players really struggling to get the hang of keeping their second hand on their stick to prevent them from holding that other player back. Black and white call right in front of the referee. Gauchos killing another one.
Second power play of the game for the men in black, and UCSB able to get the clear. If the Gauchos can see out the current 3-0 score line to the end of the period, they'll have to kill off an additional 21 seconds to start the third. McDowell knocked free by Goldser. Nix away out of his crease to play it forward. Piagai plays it back in where McDowell gathers. Less than a minute to go here in the second period. Shot in behind Hahn, 45 seconds remain. As Piagai for Vieira. Hits a stanchion and bounces out to McDonald near neutral ice. Ahead for Perez. His shot is blocked by Vieira. And Herlihy able to hustle it out and down the ice. Delbonis on the forecheck as Burke carries in. 15 seconds. Burke back to the point for Brown. Brown across the high slot, gives for Boardingham. Boardingham shot wide. Rebound will kick to the left point. Burke gives it up for Seitz. His shot is blocked by Piagai as the horn sounds, and we're through two here at Ice in Paradise in Goleta. Santa Clara able to add one more to their score line on a beautiful give and go between Dakota Binniger and Chris Brown. Binniger slotting home his second goal of the season for Santa Clara to make it 3-0 Broncos.
Bit of a rough period for UCSB, but it looked like they were starting to get the hang of it. I do think they were the better team for the most part of that, but I think the thing I heard you say in terms of the Gaucho offense, more than anything, sharp angle shot. Gauchos still really not getting much in the way of pucks to the middle of the ice. They're being forced to settle for a lot of the pucks that are coming from deep outside the hash marks. They're along the sideboards or down near the goal line along the boards. UCSB just kind of hoping for a bounce to get out front. you're not really going to get a whole lot that way, especially when you have a goaltender who's so good at controlling traffic around his own crease like Frankie Nix is. I think that's one of the things that Coach Hires is going to want to focus on this period. I think he's going to have a lot of positive things to say, but I think he's also going to encourage the Gauchos, maybe make one more pass, try to get the puck to a slightly better shooting angle before dumping it on net.
This great Gaucho crowd on hand thanks in large part to UCSB social media. Such a huge reaction on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Facebook page to the event for tonight's contest. Remember, you can like the Gauchos at facebook.com/icehockeyUCSB. Follow on Twitter at UCSB Ice Hockey and on Instagram, UCSB Ice Hockey. And remember, when you're here live at Ice in Paradise, be sure to use the special Ice Hockey at UCSB Snapchat filter. When we return for the Center Ice Santa Barbara intermission report, we will have a look at the scoring summary for the game. Kyle will give you additional tactical breakdown for the contest, as we also look at the continued growth of the sport at both the high school and collegiate level. This great facility in Goleta at Ice in Paradise, such a vital part of that. 3-0, UCSB trailing Santa Clara in the second intermission here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. The Center Ice Santa Barbara second intermission show here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. Eric Evelhoch and Kyle Nicolas with you from Ice in Paradise, where the Gauchos trailing 3-0 after 40 minutes in the books. And Kyle, third year for ice hockey at UCSB to play here at Ice in Paradise. And this venue and this student organization, now club team, is really emblematic of the rise that hockey's had in recent years at so many levels here in the state of California. You can talk and point to initially the deal that brought Wayne Gretzky to Los Angeles that was the first real major boost for the sport here, despite the Kings being around now for 51 seasons. But the fact that you're seeing a high school hockey leagues sponsored by the Anaheim Ducks, sponsored by the Los Angeles Kings, sponsored by the San Jose Sharks. These facilities continue to pop up and great opportunities continue to grow for students at the high school level and at the university level here in the ACHA with a program like ice hockey at UCSB.
And you pointed to the Gretzky trade, that just being instrumental for hockey here in the state of California. Also, you got to tip your hat to other legendary players that have donned the various uniforms over the years. One that just recently departed San Jose, Patrick Marleau, you would argue possibly the biggest face that franchise has ever had. The only one maybe putting up a fight for that, still in uniform there, Joe Thornton. And then, of course, down in Orange County, two guys that are going into the Hall of Fame here pretty quick, Paul Kariya and Teemu Selanne, built that up. The Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League, the biggest one in the state of California, with 50 teams in that one total.
And, of course, the ACHA has seen such a great growth. The Pac-8 has been around for several decades here. Programs, staples like the University of California, UCLA, USC, additions of programs like the University of Utah, but you've also seen programs that have started as ACHA sides begin to make the move up to the Division I level. Arizona State.
UNLV did it last year.
Looking to do the exact same thing.
And apparently they're doing very well at that level too thus far. And I think we'd be remiss if we were talking about Arizona State. We didn't mention them making the jump and going and becoming the first team west of Colorado, don't count Alaska, first team in the continental U.S. west of Colorado to play NCAA Division I men's ice hockey. And you have to imagine there are some programs that are not far behind them.
So it really has been a tremendous rising tide for all hockey programs at all levels here in the West Coast. Meanwhile, the Gauchos, Kyle, offensively looking to raise their own tide here in this third period, trailing by 3. You started to mention some of the stylistic changes you want to see for this final regulation period. Spell some of those out a little bit more as we continue on here in the Center Ice Santa Barbara second intermission show.
Well, as I mentioned, I think the thing I heard you say the most in terms of the Gaucho offense is sharp angle shot. Ice hockey at UCSB really not doing a whole lot to get to the front of the Santa Clara Bronco net, settling for a lot of shots, either not looking for a pass, not going back to their point, not moving the puck around. They're settling for a lot of shots that are coming from the outside hash marks, down near the goal line, things that aren't really dangerous. And to a certain extent, that's not a bad strategy if you have a goaltender that's giving up a lot of rebounds, but that's not happening here tonight. You're not going to get a goaltender of Frankie Nix's caliber to give up the rebounds along those lines, so you're going to have to start to rethink that strategy just a little bit. Start moving that puck around, go back to your points, let guys like Andrew Vieira and Dimitri Piagai use the space they're being given along the blue line, move that puck around, or send a shot in, get bodies to the front of the net. UCSB's had a little bit of success that way as well. Just start generating offense the good old-fashioned way, make the game more simple, start putting pucks to the net, not necessarily any way you can, choose your shots wisely.
Take a look at the scoring summary for the second period, brought to you by UCSBHockey.com. UCSBHockey.com is your home for ice hockey at UCSB. Catch up with the latest news, schedules, stats, and more. And of course, when we go live for every home game with video broadcast coverage, that is your immediate conduit to the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network's YouTube page. One goal in the second period. It was scored by Santa Clara at the 6:27 mark a give and go between Dakota Binniger and Chris Brown. Binniger finishing it off to make it 3-0. The teams each picked up a pair of coincidental minors. UCSB picked up their first 2 team minors against, and will begin this third period with 21 seconds of Santa Clara power play time to kill. Shots in that second period, courtesy of technical director and statistician Jasmine Kellogg. 12 for UCSB for a game total of 25, while Santa Clara has attempted 10 in the second period for a game total of 21. With cameraman Jesse Gutierrez and colorman Kyle Nicolas, my name is Eric Evelhoch, ready to bring you third period action here from Ice in Paradise. The Gauchos looking to see if they can get familiar third period heroics as they saw last season, rallying to knock off Santa Rosa Junior College 7-6 in their opening contest last year.
And you get the feeling all it takes is one early and anything could happen in this game.
They have killed off the second power play of the game for the Broncos. Teams back to even strength. As Lavarado will carry in left wing. Lavarado's shot hit the shins of the defenseman, but still lurking. Seitz couldn't put his shot on net. To the line. Rupert switches for Park. Park looking for the tip play for Seitz, sent back to the line. Rupert, slapper, and it sticks to Hahn, keeping it in the crook of his right arm.
And you notice something with the way Hahn plays in that net. Shots that hit him in the chest protector, they don't come back out, and that is a tremendous quality to have as a goalie when your team knows that anything that goes into your breadbasket is going to stick to you. There's not going to be any rebound. The team doesn't have to worry about anything getting kicked back out into the slot. It gives the teams a lot of confidence in the way they play defense in front of you.
Perez wins the offensive zone draw. The shot from the right point by Burke skips wide to the near side. Gauchos were not shut out in any game last season. Bob Miller's not around to conjure. Somebody's got to take up for it. As Piagai can't clear it. Intercepted by A.J. Hood. Walks in alone, and Hahn makes another tremendous save on number 23 in black. Hood scored the first 2 Broncos of the game in the first 2 minutes and 3 seconds of the contest. Hahn has said no every time since.
He is determined not to give him that third one, and boy, he has had to make some dandies in order to not give that one up. UCSB's defense just letting him down on that one. A big turnover down low in their own zone, and not the man you want to give it to.
Barone picks it up far boards. 3 men on the forecheck for Santa Clara. You can really sense the Broncos and our head coach Jackson Morgus looking for the fourth of the game and what could, for all intents and purposes, shut the door in this contest, considering how they've played it defensively. Gallant fights it through for Barone. Barone 2-on-3. Shot nicks the save, steers the rebound wide where Evelhoch plays for Barone. Tried to center it in front. He had Goleta going to the painted area, but was blocked by McDowell. Goleta has Evelhoch in the area to help, but Burke wedges him off the puck and will send it wide too far for Dakota Binniger. And with May back chasing, icing waved as Connor gives it away in the near corner to Hood, but Goleta able to recover and play it back out to neutral ice. Goleta couldn't control the feed. It slipped through him off the long toss try from Liam Gallant.
So you can see right now the message in the locker room from Santa Clara was go for the throat. Lots of pressure up the ice, putting a lot of pressure on the Gaucho defense, forcing them to turn a few pucks over. A couple unlucky bounces have hit the linesman down in that corner, I've noticed. But UCSB really struggling to get that puck out of their own end, and you can tell the message right now from Santa Clara is take that puck away from the defense and bury that fourth one to put this game away.
Gauchos had 6 men on the ice.
What was going on?
Chris Brown lost it to Cooper Spears. Spears passes it forward. Shoots! Score! Chris
Owasiak with the first goal in the 2017-18 season for the Gauchos. It looked innocent enough, but there are the hands for the 2-year captain of the Royals that we saw score 30 times in his 2 seasons in the LA Kings High School Hockey League. He has his first ACHA goal and the Gauchos' first of 2017-18 as the tortillas come raining down from the Locos.
And sometimes you never really know where those shots are going to come from, the ones that find their way through. Like you said, it looked innocent enough, the shot from Owasiak, but all it takes is just one clever shot, and this is perfectly placed as well, we have to mention. Right over the pad, about 13 inches off the ice, just outside the glove. Nick's just slightly off center, maybe cheating a little bit to try to take that shot down as they're getting a little bit of cleanup done on the ice, but a great shot from Owasiak. That might have been the juice, the boost that ice hockey at UCSB needed here for the third period. Like I mentioned, you got the feeling that if they got one early, anything could happen. There's the early one. There's one past Nick's. A puck can get through him. Now is the chance to keep that pressure on, although I believe UCSB is probably going to have to kill a delay a game penalty here. That is an ACHA and really a rule at hockey rinks all around the country. You throw anything onto the ice, it can turn into a delay a game penalty for the home team. Looks like the officials might be letting them get away with this one. That is not something we want to encourage for future home games. I'm willing to bet this might be the only warning ice hockey at UCSB gets.
Of course, through the years, we've seen rats, octopi.
Go to a soccer game, those things go flying every time there's a goal.
Catfish, most recently.
Tortillas, I should mention.
Even all the way down to, thinking back in the late 90s in the old International Hockey League, Utah Grizzlies fans used to throw trout on the ice.
That's a bit of a weird one, but it makes sense.
Scoring. Hey, you got to feed the Grizzlies. Oh my goodness, Santa Clara gets it right back. Chris Brown, seeing eye wrister from the top of the near circle, makes it 4-1.
Oh, that's just a backbreaker for ice hockey at UCSB. A trickler that just somehow finds its way through Hahn. This is a time where he has to mentally reset. And for UCSB, just a bit of a heartbreaker with that one, working so hard to finally get something on the board and give this huge crowd something to cheer about. But now they got to claw back from a 3-goal deficit again. Just, it couldn't have been more than 6 or 7 seconds after that first goal was scored.
6 seconds between goals. You wonder, Kyle, the delay between the Gaucho goal and getting back to action.
And Hahn came out of his net during that delay to help pick the tortillas up as well. You have to wonder if that may have taken some of his focus off.
So we wait for the announcement of both the goals. Assist given to Aiden Rupert on that, as in on the forecheck, Owasiak giving chase. Negroni rides the puck off of Seitz at the red line. Here now, Cooper Spears. Spears' shot hit the back heel of Brown. Rolled in for Mark McDowell to gather in. McDowell, in his 3rd year with Santa Clara, turned over. Collindale Bonus, his shot deflected behind the net by Perez's stick. To the point, Negroni bounces a backhander in and has it tipped past him out to neutral ice. Does well to interfere, but not enough to warrant the penalty, and riding Dakota Binniger off his line forward. Hood tried to center for Perez. Gauchos will knuckle puck it all the way back out between the circles in the Santa Clara end. Park off the dasher, taps it back behind the net to himself. Rupert can't get the clear on the second try. He'll backhand it out. And Vieira switches for Piagai. Carried in by Strategos. Pass across. Score! Austin Shredder!
And the Gauchos have made it a 2-goal game again.
And we mentioned Austin Trenner and his ability to get to the front of the net, and he goes there, and this time he is not marked. No one there able to take him away, and all he has to do is just get a stick on this beautiful pass right across the front of the net. UCSB showing they are not deterred by that fourth goal from Santa Clara. Still attacking, still going hard at the blue line, and finally they get a puck through the low slot, and Trenner gets his stick there, and suddenly it's a 2-goal game again. UCSB has a lot of life here in this third period. This one is far from over.
We wait for the official announcement of the goal. Right now, I have it Trenner from Del Bonis, assisted by Strategos. Goldser. He'll play it forward for Barone. Barone stood up at the blue line. Switch across for Piagai. McDowell. Play to the near boards. Heavy hit delivered there by Vieira. Barone will hold it in. Goldser had it taken away by Lavarado. The play to the near side boards. And angled out Lavarado. Gauchos shoot it back in. We've played 5 minutes and 25 seconds here in the third period. UCSB, their first 2 goals of the game here, but trail by 2. Barone. Vieira couldn't curl it back around. Went through Goldser for Burke. Vieira held at the line but tried the cheeky backhander. It was intercepted by Burke. Potential 2-on-1 here. Burke to the slot. Nice sweep check by the Gaucho defense.
And the crowd in the building appreciates that one. UCSB giving up a 2-on-1. Great hustle to get back in and take that one away before it could even wind up being a shot on net. And it looks like UCSB getting called back. I guess you can't change players on a hybrid icing here on this level. I thought I remembered that from last year. So it is the exact same rule as what you have from the NHL. You ice the puck, you got to keep the same 5 players on the ice. For UCSB, they got a few tired bodies still out there.
Barone
taking his time getting to the faceoff circle.
Will draw against Perez. Wonder if he's trying to get tossed here.
Linesman seeming to have none of that. You can tell he's gassed too.
Vieira for Piagai. Stretch pass Herlihy, head for Barone. And it's just offside the diving play by Aiden Rupert.
Got just enough of it to force the offside.
Held it up at the blue line to force Barone to come a stride off with 13:47 to go here in the third.
And Santa Clara look like they're campaigning for this to go all the way back down into the Gaucho end. I think they have a point there. That pass did initiate from down almost near the, what I believe is the left circle of Will Hahn's goal, and I think that's where they are going to take it. That should be where the faceoff would be.
Nothing gets past Jackson Morgus, who played for 4 years at Santa Clara University, also earned his law degree. Get this, Kyle, before his senior season, he tried out for the then ECHL Stockton Thunder, was in the last wave of cuts, as Cooper Spears has now drawn a penalty. Coming up the near boards, it'll be a holding in the second power play opportunity of the game for ice hockey at UCSB. Mark McDowell, take your seats.
Spears uses that speed to just go tearing in down the near side boards and just draws a little bit of a holding penalty, just enough to take him down. I'm willing to bet Spears probably didn't, work super hard to stay on his skates for that one, if I'm just going to guess by the type of player he is. Nonetheless, that little bit of extra gamesmanship gets UCSB a very important power play opportunity and a chance to cut this one down to 1. The offense clicking. Let's see what happens.
Off the draw, an immediate wrister ripped into the midsection by Spears.
And this is a pressure moment for Frankie Nix. He's given up 2 goals very quickly here to start this period, and now his team down a man with all the momentum seemingly in the Gauchos' corner, and 2 quick shots resulting in 2 very good saves.
That one not as expertly eaten up by the midsection of Nix.
Looked like it got him in the stick first. Those are a little harder to control as a goaltender.
Spears with it again off the draw. His shot, save made, rebound, sitting there. Kick back to the line. Rupert shot through traffic. Nix never saw it, but it missed his left post. Pass back across. Spears, skate to stick shot it over top the net. Held in at the far point. No, it hops the stick of Emmett Rupert. The Gauchos have to reset with 30 seconds used on their second power play of the game. Gauchos able to generate 2 shots on their first power play as Spears now on the carry-in. Spears couldn't dance through the high slot. Owasiak with it. Owasiak shot, stick behind the net. Delbonis for Owasiak. Sharp angle shot, save made by Nix. Fights it off and then goes to ground on his gut to hold for the faceoff.
And the Gauchos had 4 white shirts around the crease. At that point, why not walk it down to the low side of the net and just jam away at it? Force Frankie Nix to either take it in and hold it the first time, or you've got a very good opportunity for UCSB to jam away at a rebound and get themselves a power play goal. Couple of defenders for Santa Clara on that last play out of position. Good recognition from the Gauchos.
Barone, Trenner, Goltzer, the forwards out for the Gauchos now. As getting the hard clear, but unfortunately hitting a stick on his own bench.
I thought it hit him
Rupert.
It's a good thing it hit him in the stick. I thought it got him in the mask initially.
He immediately comes up pointing to his lumbar.
Probably heart beating a little faster on that one. I know these players are all required to wear full face protection, but it'll still ring your bell if you get cracked there.
This time, Aiden Rupert able to send it the length of the rink. Gallant for Tyler Barone. Goltzer dances by his man, tried to drag it back. Lost it in the middle of the slot, and Park cleared it. Good job on the hip check by Kyle Perez to force the extra dance from the Gaucho captain and the dispossess. Piagai with 25 seconds on the power play carries in. Goltzer tried to wrap it in front. Rupert able to wrap it out and all the way down. Hahn plays it away from the hard-charging A.J. Hood. Stretch pass. Barone unable to come up with it, and the Gauchos have iced the puck with 4 seconds remaining on the power play and 11:42 to go here in the third period.
Looked like Dimitri Piagai thought he had snuck over the boards on that one. Linesman quick to pull him back over. 4 seconds left, and probably a pretty tired power play unit out there. They've been doing a lot of puck chasing on this one. Few good opportunities with that first initial faceoff, but it's very difficult to get reestablished in the offensive zone once you've given up that first clear.
UCSB wins the draw as Gallant gives it up for Piagai and gets it back as Santa Clara gets their man back on the ice. But now, here a carry forward by Goltzer. Shot saved by Nix. He took a peek behind him over his left shoulder.
He wasn't sure.
Phil Park, though, immediately doing the captainly thing for the Broncos, giving him the pat on the shoulder. I knew you had it all the way, bud.
Absolutely, and that was a pretty good backhand shot from Goltzer as well, recognizing that his defenseman that is guarding him right in front did go down as soon as he got that puck, just giving Justin an extra half of a step. Not quite enough to turn the corner and walk into the front of the net, however.
Goltzer had 11 goals last season, second most on the team. His 3 power play tallies led the side. We're back to even strength here, though, as McDowell plays it across for Burke. Harassed, turns it over for Rupert at the left point. Staple gun to the near side boards. Owasiak wedges it forward and sends it behind where it's swung around by Boardingham. Touched out by Andrew Seitz, and here comes Michael Lavarado. Lavarado hooked from behind, and Emmett Rupert's going to be called for the 3rd Gaucho penalty of the game.
And he needs to make sure he doesn't take any additional ones.
He has a lot to say to Andrew Seitz.
He needs to make sure he doesn't take any additional minutes with UCSB chasing a 2-goal deficit down to, the clock is still running right now, by the way.
So this should be stopped.
This should be stopped.
The Gaucho coaching staff all looking at the corner. Fans now yelling as Rupert will sit down.
The clock, there, about 40 seconds have ticked off this clock.
As Rupert will sit down for the rough.
The time is still going, and now it stops. A good minute has ticked off this clock. I looked over, it said 10:45. It now reads 9:49.
So this is a big spot for referee Andy Mack, trying to determine how much time has fallen off of it. And so with Emmett Rupert being called for the penalty, the second minor of the game, fashions himself a player like Doug the Thug Glatt, but trailing by 2 in the final period, as the officials will put back it to 10 minutes and 20 seconds.
Still a little short of where it should have been, but that's still a benefit for the Gauchos to at least get some of that time back.
This is not the time for quote-unquote goonery, if you will.
Absolutely. That's one of those moments that I think Coach Scott Hires is not going to be too happy about. When you got your team chasing a 2-goal deficit, you absolutely need to stay with all 5 skaters on the ice and keep pressuring on offense. Force the other team to be the one who winds up taking the penalties, because now UCSB is, at least for the next 2 minutes, going to have to kill this off, and they're not going to have a whole lot in the way of offensive chances, barring something kind of fluky or even, a very strategic play. UCSB's probably not going to get a whole lot while shorthanded here. Instead, they're going to have to worry about not going back down by another 3-goal deficit.
It is worth noting, Cooper Spears did have a shorthanded goal last season. You wonder if he may see some time out here on the kill.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Gauchos immediately able to send it the length of the ice sheet. Nice. Owasiak wedged off it by Burke. Third power play of the game for Santa Clara. They're 0 for 2. Perez back to the point for Burke. Behind the net for Perez. Piagai lost an edge as it's sent to the slot. The Collindale bonus. The length of the ice with 30 seconds killed by the Gauchos. McDowell for Perez. Perez drops back for Hood. Perez. Hood now near sideboard hashes for McDowell. Gets it back. Hood waiting. Plays for Perez. Throws it in front. Hahn the save. Rebound shoveled wide.
I think a little bit of a miscommunication between Hahn and his defender in front as to who was going to clear that rebound away. UCSB gets away with that one a little bit.
Hood walks to the high slot. Now far point. 50 seconds remain on the power play as he feeds for McDowell. McDowell shot. Hahn the save. Rebound swept to the end boards by Piagai, but McDowell with it once again. For Hood left point. He has the first 2 goals of the game for Santa Clara. Perez. Pass across the crease. Nobody home. Burke. And it's knocked forward. Here's a chance for the Gauchos. Owasiak for Delbonis. Tries to pass it back against the grain, and a great job by Burke coming back, recovering defensively.
Good hustle from Burke, and it's a 3-on-2 the other way.
Hood shoots. Hahn the blocker save. 10 seconds remain in the power play. As Vieira maintains possession, the Gauchos able to get fresh forwards out. The stretch pass for Cooper Spears too far, but it'll kill off the remainder of the power play. The Broncos now 0 for 3 with the man advantage in the game. 8:15 remaining.
Good, interesting strategy from Spears at the end of that penalty kill. Recognizing that the Gauchos had possession, he bolted right to the Santa Clara blue line and hung out, which essentially drew both Santa Clara defenders back to keep an eye on him, and it did not allow them to get up and actually pressure, and it did force an icing just now, so UCSB with the offensive zone faceoff.
And now looking, I see that Defenseman Emmett Rupert has not come out of the penalty box, perhaps also earning a 10-minute misconduct as a result of that last penalty.
That would make sense, I believe.
So off the draw, Santa Clara controls in their defensive end. Aiden Rupert can't connect with Boardingham. Barone with it. Barone feedbacks for Golter, shoots it high over the top. Brown tries to swing it out. It came to the slot. Park played near side boards. Barone intercepts. Shot from the line. Blockered to the near corner, where it's picked up by Aiden Rupert, but lost it to Golter. Throws it in front. Poke checked away by Nix. Rupert curls it back around for Park. The tension palpable here at Ice in Paradise, but a great job on the touch forward for Brendan Boardingham. Boardingham lost control of the puck. May doesn't know where it is. Shot saved by Hahn. Sights his second try. Spills behind the net. McDowell. Brown. Pivoting. Carrying behind the net. Under 7 to go here in the third period. Play to the point where it's intercepted by Burke. Sent behind the net for Brown to retrieve. Tried to throw it to the slot. Was intercepted by Goltzer. Played forward by Barone. Big hit taken behind the play, but Barone carries in 1-on-2. Tries to walk McDowell. Can't do so. Brown for McDowell. Puck in a dangerous spot. It'll be angled out by Binniger. Ahead for Perez. Perez's shot. Vieira steers it to the end boards. Two men for each side. Strumford in the right corner. Not really much interest from either side to move it along. And the official has blown the play dead with 6:05 remaining in the third period.
And if you're Santa Clara, that works exactly in your favor. There's no need to move that puck away from a frozen position, especially when that frozen position is 200 feet away from your own goal. Keep it down there as long as you possibly can. That's one really good way to work on the clock, which is very quickly becoming an ally of the Broncos.
Santa Clara controls off to the neutral zone draw. Mingroni for Austin Trenner. He has the second goal of the game for the Gauchos. Spears with it now, tried to drop it back for him. Intercepted by Park. Park plays it past him for Rupert. Heavy hit and a penalty coming here on UCSB. An incredulous look from Colin Delbonis. And Aiden Rupert is not happy after taking that hip check in the right corner.
That was a heavy hit from Delbonis. I think he may be getting a charging penalty here, as he did have to come from quite a ways in order to take that. But I think the good thing is he may have also taken a man with him. If I'm not mistaken, that's Phil Park also going. But for UCSB, Delbonis, one of the most effective offensive players here this evening, now going to sit for the next 2 minutes. And he may be the only one going.
The Gauchos incredulous as the call is boarding with 5:39 remaining here in the third period.
It was a heavy hit, and it did look like he did catch right in the numbers, which is a dangerous spot, especially if, 18 inches, 2 feet away from the boards. It's where a lot of injuries occur, so I think that's a good call from the officiating crew. And I think that's something that Delbonis is going to have to get used to here at the collegiate level. Those are not plays that you can make generally.
Fourth power play of the game for Santa Clara. They'll be content, though, to just work it along the end boards here and try and melt off as much time as possible.
That'll be about 3.5 minutes left.
It's the clear to the line, not out.
Be about 3.5 minutes left if this one ends without a goal.
McDowell, shot from the line, saved by Hahn. This rebound didn't stick to him, but he's able to fall forward on it for the freeze.
Good quick reaction for Hahn on that one. You get the feeling with how incredibly dominant the Santa Barbara Royals team was over the last 2 years. They may not have faced a whole lot of adversity like this. This may be a bit of unfamiliar territory for guys like Delbonis.
In the 2 years with the program, the Royals lost just once, and that came in overtime. Goleta on the forecheck. Park pirouettes away from him. Park for Perez. Perez dragging it in. Hahn had left the near post, and he just couldn't sneak it past.
A little bit of a deflection off the defenseman. Almost beat his own goaltender.
Goleta bounces it down. 55 seconds remaining on the power play. McDowell off the near boards for Perez. A.J. Hood. Vieira for Piagai. Oh, and this is not the time, as the fans have started throwing tortillas on the ice again, and
this very likely could end up a delay of game penalty for UCSB.
The official is now looking up and having words with the students. Of course, the Gauchos excited to have this huge crowd here.
I think we could say, I don't think there's an official number for that. I think this is the closest we could say ice hockey at UCSB has ever received to a quote-unquote sellout crowd.
And now assistant coach Ben Brecker is making the announcement over the public address system to remind the Locos to not throw items on the ice. You appreciate the exuberance of the fan base.
You got to love the way that the Gaucho Locos and the fans here in Santa Barbara have taken to this team here at ice hockey at UCSB.
But
you got to rein it in.
And at the very least, as the student support organizations will say at the soccer matches, where of course it's reminded even then you're not supposed to throw items on the pitch, that tortillas are for goals only.
And up, not out.
UCSB very lucky to escape getting penalized for delay of game.
I could have swore they would have gotten another one there. That's the third delay they've now had because of debris on the ice.
Santa Clara, Boardingham plays back to the point for Park. Walks in, high slot, his shot. Hahn shrugged it wide with a blocker. Rupert, shot, deflects off of Boardingham, wide to the far boards. Gauchos pitchfork it out. But Boardingham returns it back in behind. UCSB has killed the fourth power play of the game for the Broncos. 3:35 remains in the third period. Barone with it, pass across. Cutting to the top of the crease, but unable to get there in time, Awasia. He has the first Gaucho goal of the game. Awasia tried to get it for Barone. Nice stick from McDowell to break it up, but Awasiak with it again. Saucers it for Barone, far boards. Tries to play it in front, looking for Del Bonis. Played behind the net by Lavarado for McDowell. Gauchos too high on the pressure as Barone comes up with the steal, but couldn't control it. Lavarado, slow roller out on the backhand with under 3 minutes to play.
You got to wonder if Coach Hires is thinking about pulling his goaltender here. His team's had a lot of concerted pressure in the offensive zone here in this period. It might not be a bad idea to start thinking about it.
Barone. Pass off the back of the skate, goes to the near boards. Hood able to work it out. At the red line, Perez with second and third efforts. Couldn't get it past. Herlihy trying to work past McDowell, who wedges him off it at the end boards. Burke plays it down. This will go long enough for icing, and back to ensure the whistle, Liam Gallant. 2:12 remaining in the third.
And you got to be wondering if Coach Scott Hires is considering taking that timeout right now. And I think, no, we're going to get a timeout from Santa Clara. So Coach Scott Hires doesn't even have to take his timeout. He's still going to get a moment to talk with what I believe would be his top line here this evening, as Cooper Spears out with, I believe it's Austin Trenner and Justin Goldzer.
Fans, we remind you that everyone can play hockey at Ice in Paradise. Ice in Paradise offers skating school for all ages with the Goleta Youth Hockey League, Monarchs Girls Ice Hockey Club, and the Santa Barbara Ice Hawks travel team. For more information, visit iceinparadise.org. Eric Evelhoch and Kyle Nicolas with you here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. And Kyle, you mentioned the personnel for the Gauchos who will likely be playing this offensive zone face-off. What do you want to see strategically from them here?
Got to see some puck movement, control off the face-off. Santa Clara has been sensational in defensive zone face-offs here tonight. They've won a lot of them. UCSB has not been able to get a whole lot in the way of offense generated off of winning an offensive zone face-off. It starts from there, but if they can't get that face-off win, they have got to get on that puck quickly. Force the turnover, force an errant clear, something that they can take down and start to work with in order to generate some offense. They've started to be able to move the puck around the Broncos well, but it starts with a good face-off, and if you can't get the face-off, quickly get on top of the puck and get possession back. 2:12 left to go here in the game, and you have to wonder, like I mentioned earlier, how long is Will Hahn going to be in the net for that one?
Spears, Goldser, Trenner. With McGroney out there on defense for the Gauchos, as well as Liam Gallant. Played to the line, but not out. Spears, shot, hit a stick in the high slot. Goldser couldn't come up with it. McGroney intercepted far boards by Rupert and elevated out, bouncing puck down the ice. Gallant has to play it. 1:45 to go in the third period. Swept away from Spears. Passed forward for Goldser. Read and tipped forward by Phil Park. Gauchos have to go back behind their own end line here.
And you have to argue that this is textbook road play here from the Santa Clara Broncos, just forcing UCSB to come up the ice and skate through them.
And A.J. Hood adds the exclamation point. He hits the hat trick, picking the water bottle with 1:22 to play.
What a shot.
Santa Clara will send the Locos home disappointed in the 2017-18 Ice Hockey at UCSB season opener. You had to feel that that was coming eventually with all the opportunities that Hood had. His third of the game has all but put it to bed here.
And it wasn't a breakaway, it wasn't anything super fancy, but it was a heck of a shot just to pick the top corner over the glove of Will Hahn. Not a lot he can do as a goaltender. He was in the right spot. That was just an overpowering shot from Hood. A well-deserved hat trick, and like you mentioned, you had the feeling it was coming. Unfortunately, I think that's going to send the Gauchos home without any points here this evening.
Angled in. Sent by Herlihy to the high slot. Less than a minute to play as the slapper goes wide from Iwasia. Piagai tries to backhand it into the slot. It's intercepted by Brown, and he'll carry it out. Gains center red and angles it in ahead of sights. These two teams play again tomorrow night here at Ice in Paradise. 9:45 is when the teams will take to the ice. Approximately a 10 p.m. face-off that we'll have for you here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. Iwasiuk tried to stuff it far post. Nix held. McDowell. 10 seconds remaining. Plays it forward for A.J. Hood, who's in all alone. Hahn coming out like Dominic Hasek, and he's unable. The Superman out, gives up the fourth goal of the game to Hood, and that seals the 6-2 score line.
And you got a feeling that's just frustration from Hahn not being able to keep those ones out. Again, I don't think he should blame himself for getting beat on that last one. That was a heck of a shot to get up and over, and for UCSB, an unfortunate result here in the season opening game. A little bit of a heartbreak, and probably, I have to say, probably their worst loss in any of their home openers here at Ice in Paradise, unfortunately. So some definite learning, some things that they can do to improve. And you have to wonder, is UCSB going to see Frankie Nix again tomorrow night, or will we see the backup goaltender, David Valero? I wouldn't anticipate that, though, when you got a goaltender of Nick's caliber sitting in your net.
And the way Nick's reacted after the final seconds tipped off, dropping to a knee and giving the fist pump a la Carey Price. A priceless performance for the visitors tonight for Frankie Nix as he backstops Santa Clara University to their third win of the season. The Broncos now 3-1-0, 2-0-0 in Pacific Collegiate Hockey Association action. The Gauchos, for the first time, have fallen in league play, and will look to get it back tomorrow night, as they're now 0-1-0 on the season and 0-1-0 in PCHA play, as the good sportsmanship shown at the end of the contest, the handshakes for both sides, as we're now in the post-game show, brought to you by Center Ice Santa Barbara, located in Goleta at 7127 Hollister Avenue, Suite 8. Visit centericesb.com. Center spelled the Canadian way, Centre. Well, Kyle Nicolas, the Gauchos put themselves behind the 8 ball early in this one. A.J. Hood scoring the first 2 goals of the game in the first 2 minutes and 3 seconds. It would be 2-0 in favor of the visitors after the first period. Santa Clara, the only goal of the second period. A nice give and go between Dakota Binniger and Chris Brown, with Binniger potting it to make it 3-0 to Santa Clara after 40 minutes played. The Gauchos get the first goal of the third period and able to pull within 2 on the first ACHA goal by Chris Owasiuk. But you could argue the real back-breaking goal came just 6 seconds of playing time later, after there was a delay where the team and staff here at Ice in Paradise had to come onto the sheet to pick up tortillas. Just 6 seconds later, Chris Brown scored on a shot from the top of the near circle that just trickled through Hahn to make it 4-2. The Gauchos get the second goal of the game on Austin Trenner. A nice play going to the front of the net and able to slam it home to make it 4-2. But the Broncos close the result out thanks to Hood completing his hat trick, a wicked wrister from the top of the far circle with a minute and 12 seconds remaining. He gets another one late with Hahn out charging off his line to complete our 6-2 scoreline tonight here from Ice in Paradise.
Well, I think that was a game that's exemplifying of the number of things that this young Gauchos team is going to have to learn. They're going to have to figure out how to make their offense effectively move the puck from one end of the ice to the other, and then once it is in the offensive zone of the ice, they're going to have to figure out how to move it into the higher danger areas of the ice. When they were able to get it there, they had some success. The Austin Trenner goal is an example of that. But for a large chunk of the night, Santa Clara just defended them so well. If you're talking an NHL game, that was a textbook road game from Santa Clara. Just content to sit back, have 4 guys deep protecting the net, not allowing anything to go to the front of the top of the goal crease, and forcing UCSB to take a lot of shots from out wide, not good shots. They're forcing them to settle. Things that UCSB is going to have to improve on. They're going to have to find a way around that. They're going to have to just build a little bit of chemistry and find some sort of consistency where they can get those passes in the offensive zone to find their targets and set men up in more dangerous areas of the ice.
You'll be able to read all about tonight's game later this evening / early tomorrow morning. UCSBhockey.com is your home for ice hockey at UCSB on the web. Kyle, it's time to pick our 3 stars of the game, brought to you by UCSB Social Media. Remember to like the Gauchos on Facebook at facebook.com/icehockeyUCSB. Follow on Twitter at UCSB Ice Hockey, and on Instagram, UCSB Ice Hockey. And when you're here at Ice in Paradise, use the special Ice Hockey at UCSB Snapchat filter. Would you like me to start, or
I can go either way. I have my 3 picked out.
I'm going to hedge a little bit with my third star of the game and give it to both of the Gaucho goal scorers in Chris Awasiuk and Austin Trenner. Great to see Awasiuk in his first game at the ACHA level score the first of the season for UCSB. As you astutely pointed out in the broadcast, it was just a perfectly placed shot coming from the right face-off dot and sending it over the pad underneath the trapper of Nix, the perfect height where the goalie had no opportunity to make the save on it, and Trenner getting the well-deserved goal, his first at the ACHA level after playing in the San Jose Sharks High School Hockey League, after playing for the 18U AA Junior Sharks program. He may be in Los Angeles Kings territory, but if he can continue to perform like that, he's surely going to be happy, as will his Sharks fan parents be, to see him putting the puck in the net and going hard to the net like that, like he did tonight.
I would love to see a lot more of that. My third star, in agreement with yours, Chris Awasiuk definitely caught my eye, not only as the goal scorer on that. His speed is just tremendous. We were talking to Coach Scott Hires before the game, and he mentioned both he and Del Bonis, very hard workers, not afraid to just get into the dirty areas. They lead by example. They're the ones that are out at practice and just skating as hard as they can every single shift, and it showed. Awasiuk was all over the ice tonight. I thought he had an excellent debut for UCSB. Looking forward to seeing him as the season progresses. My second star of the night is going to be Santa Clara goaltender Frankie Nix. I thought he was everything that they needed him to be. Solid, didn't let rebounds through, controlled the area in front of his goal crease when pucks did wind up getting there. I thought that was exactly the performance Santa Clara needed. He wasn't tested a whole lot. The Gauchos did get a few opportunities, and he stood tall to most of them. But nonetheless, he did what coaches want, and that is give his team a chance to win. And they absolutely delivered tonight.
I'm in agreement with you, having Frankie Nix as the second star of the game. Remember last season, Kyle, when the Gauchos played this Santa Clara team, Nix made 30 saves on 33 shots in the 3-2 overtime victory for UCSB, and then made 34 saves on 41 shots in the 7-3 loss. This is a goalie who made more than 50 saves in their only loss of the season against San Jose State. I'd be curious if you can take a quick peek over beside you and find out the final shots on goal numbers to tell us how many saves that Nix made this evening. I'm in agreement with you that there were not necessarily as many of the high quality or high danger chances that he had to see last season from UCSB, but he made the stops that the Broncos needed from him.
35 shots for UCSB, so 33 saves on 35 shots. That's a great outing for an ACHA goaltender.
Oh, it's
you
tremendous.
Cannot ask for anything better than that.
There's a reason why we pointed him out as the top in the league. He has been at the top of the league for a long time, and man, oh man, for the number one star of the game, I don't think there's any question that you can give
we're
it
probably in agreement
to anyone else other than A.J. Hood. Hood, who
absolutely.
was not part of the Santa Clara University hockey team last year after studying abroad in Sweden. Just some sweet, sweet moves on the ice tonight. He had so many opportunities, and as I mentioned on the goal call, the hat trick you felt coming because he had four.
He could have had
five,
6-7 goals here tonight.
6 grade A opportunities on Will Hahn after scoring the first 2 goals of the game.
He made Will Hahn look very good tonight, and that's no disrespect to him or no disrespect to Will Hahn. Will Hahn also had himself a spectacular game. He had some opportunities that, it's a borderline miracle, a 10-bell save when your goaltender comes up with that one. He had 4 or 5 of them that Will Hahn came up with the saves on, and he still got 4 past him. That's how utterly dominant that A.J. Hood was all night long. And that is something that UCSB is going to have to work on slowing down when these two teams meet again tomorrow. You would hope that Hood's not going to catch them off guard the second time.
So now Hood leading the team with 7 goals in the 3 games that stats are available for Santa Clara University. No stats available from their 9-3 victory against the UC Davis Aggies in their previous contest before this one. But Hood showing the hands and showing the ability that he has in his previous 3 seasons for Santa Clara University. He's averaged nearly a goal a game for his career, and he is a well-deserved first star of the game. Brought to you by Ice Hockey at UCSB. Social media, like on Facebook, follow on Twitter and Instagram, and use the special Ice Hockey at UCSB filter on Snapchat. Well, Kyle, our next game will come tomorrow night. Teams scheduled to hit the ice for pregame warm-up at 9:45 p.m. The puck drop will be coming sometime around 10 p.m. And you'll be giving us the play-by-play for tomorrow night's contest.
I will. It will be weird and different.
I will be coming from Harder Stadium, and the Gauchos hosting University of California, Davis in men's soccer action. So we'll be switching roles tomorrow, and the Gauchos hoping for a switch in the results from tonight.
Absolutely. I think UCSB is not going to get caught off guard quite like they were. We mentioned in the pregame, it's really hard to keep the adrenaline and the emotion in check when you have such a big crowd like this, so many young players, a lot of freshmen on this UCSB roster. It's very, very difficult to keep everything in check, and that's usually what happens is players start gripping the stick just a little bit too tight. They start trying to overextend, overexert themselves, and they just make a few mistakes. And several of Santa Clara's goals were just purely the results of overextensions, mistakes, guys maybe leaving their line a little bit to go take a hit or try to pinch down and take a puck away at the blue line. Plays that are not necessarily bad ones to make, but risks you also don't necessarily want to have to take, especially against a team that has so much more experience like Santa Clara. I think if UCSB can clean that up and work on getting some passes through their slot tomorrow night, I think they'll have a much better opportunity at coming out on top if they can get a few more shots on Nix from in close.
Well, Kyle, it's now time for us to clean up our broadcast position here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network, following the Santa Clara University Broncos spoiling the 2017-18 home opener with a 6-2 final. The Gauchos will take on the Broncos. 9:45 start here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network tomorrow. Big thanks to our crew here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. Our second-year cameraman, Jesse Gutierrez, who continues to be better than any intern at the collegiate level has a right to be.
We're spoiled.
Shooting professionally in his first game of his second season. And technical director and statistician Jasmine Kellogg, running as smart a ship as you would expect from a Ducks fan in her maiden voyage with the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. For my color commentator, Kyle Nicolas, my name is Eric Evelhoch. It's been a pleasure to bring you this presentation of the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. Gauchos fall 6-2 in the season opener against Santa Clara. They'll be back at it tomorrow night. Until then, thanks for listening. Have a fantastic end to your Friday, and good night from Goleta.